about one country, because not only was this a Georgia election, the Georgia Senate race is a national election.
Yep.
And he was not willing to say, okay, you know what? I know the writing's on the wall. I made my point. I showed up at the debates, or I tried to, I was part of the discussion. I did what I could, and I know that the results are not going to make any difference to me, but they're going to make a difference to Georgia and America. It'll change the difference in what's happening in the laws passed in this country. And still, he would not bow out or throw his support to Herschel Walker.
We love libertarians. I voted libertarian.
Absolutely.
But the guy in the governor's race bowed out.
Yeah.
Because the right thing to do. In the last 2 weeks, if you know you're going to be the one that's going to screw up and cause us a runoff, and the thing that's millions of more dollars of taxpayers' money as well.
What did they spend? $150 million on this Senate race? And I think that was just the Democrats. Anyway, it's just I think it's selfish and hurtful. And if you're responsible for that, wife-beating, deadbeat...
Allegedly.
Well, Raffy, the wife-knocking, deadbeat...
Another allegedly. Just
like a lawyer in here.
As
your attorney...
Slumlord.
As your attorney, I advise you to shut up.
He's a public figure. Let him sue me.
True.
Of course, they won't sue me. They'll sue the radio stations.
No. We don't want that.
Well, no. Honestly, I think he's a disgrace. The man's a freaking disgrace. And he's probably going to win the Senate race.
No. I think we've learned our lesson from 2 years ago. Republicans have got to show up this time. You've got to show up.
The state of our nation is where we are today because of Georgia. Yeah. If we had not elected 2 Democratic senators, none of this would happen. None of the $1 billion bailouts, none of the $1 trillion tax-free things, none of the never mind going to work again. All of that would never have happened. Never have happened. The Afghan pull-out, everything would have been different. The economy, the gasoline prices, the war in Ukraine. If Donald Trump had still been in power and Republicans had control of the Senate and the House, none of this would have happened. We blame Georgia for the state of our union right now because of the 2 Senate races. And if we let it happen again, and we only get one shot this time, again, think about your country. My God, do you really? Is Herschel Walker that dangerous to you or scary to you? And Kemp better get out there and hold his freaking hand up at the podium saying, let's go Team Georgia.
Yep.
Come on, man. I understand why you didn't want to be seen with him, because you're afraid you were going to go down in flames if people turned against Herschel Walker because of all the liberals coming out about him with a female and but allegedly. Still, you got to show up this time, my friend. You got to do something about this.
Get out
starting today.
There's no excuses this time.
No,
you got to get out and vote.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm starting off yelling at all the little people. I'm so sorry. Anyway, it's great to be here. For those of you who have no idea who we are, I'm the Kimmer, Pete Davis, Flounder. We used to do a radio show. Several. It's amazing. I have to explain myself now. Well, I used to be working. I used to have a job, and I was somebody. Yeah. Well, not recently. You ain't nobody. Anyway, so here we'll hear to have a little fun. And again, please don't be angry that Glenn Beck's not here. I love Glenn Beck, and it's not my fault. You don't blame me.
One day.
One lousy day.
One day.
You can give up 3 hours for one day, and we will try to have a little fun here and talk about stuff. Now, I'm not sure the format. We go another. Oh, we have another several minutes
to 20. Yeah,
okay. It's not like they just go for 2.5 hours and then we just stop. So.
Yeah, well, as you know, I think a lot of people know we have a podcast. Was that my daughter Jennifer just sent me a message? I wonder if she's up listening back.
If you want to listen to the podcast, thekimmershow.net is where you go.
Oh, she said, did you forget to tell me you were on the radio today? Yeah. And did you get the cards? She sends me every year. She sends me a Marine Corps birthday card because it's November 10th, and a Veterans Day card for November 11th. Every year, and I'm very touched by it. And yes, I got them.
The podcast part, I think, also, you can listen to the Kimmer Show as well.
That's correct. Yep. And there's a bunch of other podcasts there as well to take a gander at. Neil Bortz and a bunch of other stuff. So Podcast Park.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's have some fun. In fact, I will. Let me give you the phone number, and in the next few minutes. Oh, let me ask you this: since the signal sucks and people get this on the app, go to get the XTRA one. Well, the signal's terrible. We know that.
In some places, it's good.
Well, I mean, I can hear it in most places where I am in Alpharetta. I mean, it's great.
I can hear it.
Okay, but a lot of people can't. And in fact, the last loaner car I had, the FM signal wouldn't even stop at 106.3. Oh. So anyway, but that's okay because you can get the app. It's free. Just go to XTRA 106.3 on the App Store. Hit the bing bang and you're in. Okay, nothing to it. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. And now let me ask you this, Flounder. Let's say if someone's listening on their phone.
If someone's listening on their phone.
Well, I didn't mean all to say it together. Let's say. Oh, never mind that now. What's the code? Well, it's a series of numbers.
Every time.
Sorry. If someone's listening on their phone and they want to call us, they obviously clearly would therefore no longer, they'd have to get out of the app and dial the number,
I think so, but I mean, they can get right back onto the app.
Right.
So.
Now when they do dial us, I will promise you this. If you call, if you tell me I don't have a board in here, but if you tell me we have a call on the line, we'll get them immediately so they don't have to wait and not be able to hear the show.
Sounds like a plan.
Does that sound reasonable?
Absolutely.
So we understand if you're listening on your phone, which probably you are because of the app, if you want to call us, you're obviously going to have to get out of the app and make the call and then go back on the app. So we apologize for that. But still, we do want to, I'm more concerned with how you feel. I've already given my, I really have a negative opinion about what happened, and honestly, but again, I'm always wrong. I mean, I was wrong the last time. When I went to bed in the 2020 election, I said, there's no way that Donald Trump didn't cream that basement-dwelling, psychopath, crime family girl sniffer. I mean, there's no way that Trump could have lost that election.
Notice I didn't say allegedly on any of those things.
Exactly. And I was completely wrong. And I honestly, I would have bet my house on the 2 Senate candidate. I would have bet my house that there's no way that trust fund baby John Osshole would have possibly won the Senate race, and wife knocker would have been the phony preacher who doesn't even understand the meaning of resurrection and Easter and hates the military and hates police, got elected senator from Georgia. So I couldn't believe it. And so again, I'm not confident at all. I think we better. We're getting what we deserve. We caused it. So anyway, and so again, I hate to be this negative because I'm really not a negative guy, but I'm so disappointed at this results. I was hoping for a
Well, the other thing is we're going to be the center of attention again.
Well, yeah, here we go for another 6 weeks.
Us and Arizona, isn't it? Or Nevada,
Arizona and Nevada,
and Wisconsin.
So
we're spread,
Wisconsin. Yeah,
we're spread the pain. I was promised a red tsunami and a red wave.
Yeah.
Okay, the red wave. I was thinking like the waves I used to surf off San Diego, like 8-footers.
Yeah, big
Instead,
beauties.
We got the 2-footer that you get off Jacksonville.
Yeah, it's like waiting down the Chattahoochee in an inner tube.
Where they released the dam up in Beaufort. You know?
Yeah. Anyway, and again, it's just it's very disappointing to me. But again, but I don't want to be the one to be.
Well, out of those races that are still up in the air, what's the most important? Is it Georgia, Wisconsin, Nevada?
Georgia.
Well, Georgia, and well. Yeah, I mean, once again, I think it's Georgia. The Arizona, I guess the Arizona Senate race is over. He's lost that. And there's still, Wisconsin won the Senate race barely. Kerry Lake, the governorship, apparently going to lose that, but I'm more concerned with the senators' races. So, I mean, I think Georgia is probably once again the key. And again, I'm afraid that the I thought that the Republicans would win at least 2 Senate. I thought it would be 52-48 Republican. Yeah. It's probably going to be 52 or 53 Democrat.
Actually, a Democrat last night said a smart thing. He goes, the days of the huge pendulum swings are over right now.
Yeah.
We have a pendulum nudge, a little to the left, a little to the right, and we're always all the elections that you've seen and I've seen. I started following elections in '72 when Nixon ran for re-election on that when I was 11. I started paying attention there, and it's like maybe every 16 elections you get a major wave from one side or the other, but most of the time you wake up the next morning, it's the same old, same old. Yeah. New York is always Democrat. California is always Democrat, and every time, we're going to flip them this time, and you never do.
Yeah. I know. So anyway, but let's get your comments. For the record, here is. I assume this is our phone number.
There you
go. That's why I put it there, right there for you.
Don't give out your home phone number again.
I did that once, but I never do that again.
Well, at least you got some calls. Yeah.
Remember one time on the radio, I actually gave out our password to the computer system.
That was my first day with you guys.
His first day.
Flounders on the board, and the stinking computers were just horrible. It was a piece of crap computer system. So anytime I tried to dial up the board to run stuff, I had
because what happened was the box you use with your microphone and to play your audio would always crap out.
It's a special
this was
box.
my first day without Hangman there, and Hangman was your old producer. And we went to our first break, and normally at the first break you have a promo, and then Kimmer had a live read, and his computer was locked out. So right when we were going to the live read, he goes, "Pete, what's the password?" And he literally said the correct password on air.
I think it's Atlanta 123, isn't it?
Yeah. And then Pete said a cuss word and just goes, "I don't know."
I don't blinking know.
Yeah, that was a great start to Flounder's career. Oh, my God. Anyway, here's the phone number. And sorry, Jennifer, I thought I told you. In fact, I did. And now wait a minute. Actually, I did a little video promo and put it on my Facebook page saying we're going to be on the radio. So my daughter, Jennifer, sorry, sweetie, I should have called you personally and told you. I did remind him about changing out of the daylight saving time.
Good for you.
And by the way, I missed the freaking moon. I missed the
I saw the beginning of it.
I saw a teeny, but I got up this morning at like 4:30 or something, and it was already missed it.
No, that was yesterday. It was yesterday morning, not today. It was the election day.
Well,
was the day.
son of a gun. that explains
And
it.
by the way, you said it's some kind of sunsets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No. Every year the Martians harvest their red algae that they put on the moon.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised. 404-741-1230. 404-741-1230. That's the number. Call us. We'll get you on the radio and have some fun. Hoorah, Semper Fi. I got to go. No, we're still here. I got it. It's only the camera. Here we go. Stand by. Oh, I see the little blue light there. That means we're hot.
That means you're on.
Look out. Herb, how you doing? I stand by here. You go, here's Elvis. Look out. It's only me, it's only the Kipper with Pete Davis and Flounder. And in 1958, on this very day, Elvis Presley's Hound Dog, boom, exceeded 3 million copies sold in America. Hound Dog sold 3 million copies and more. Only the third single ever to do that. Bing Crosby's White Christmas and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer by Gene Autry were the only other two singles ever to sell more than 3 million copies. And Elvis would number 3 in 1958. It was pretty cool. And by the way,
yes, sir.
I have a small story concerning Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
A small one?
A small one.
Can we save it for the end of the show?
Gene Autry was singing, as you know.
Oh, God. We're doing Gene Autry trivia at 9:26 in the morning.
This will never happen again.
Yeah.
I guarantee it's only a one-day opportunity here, folks.
We had that talk. And
Gene Autry was singing the song, and he was singing to his wife, and he was singing, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer had a very shiny. And she said, wait a minute. Sing that. He said, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer had a very... And she said, why don't you make it go up? And then he said, she said, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer had... And he said, oh, that sounds better, Rudolph. And so Gene Autry's wife convinced him and the producer people to make the song go that way, and that's why it was a number one hit. Thank you so much.
If you had Gene Autry trivia before 9:30, you win.
You can go anywhere with this particular program. Anyway, nice. Oh, my God, man. Do we have Scooter on the phone?
Yes, we do.
All right, let's get Scooter on the phone. Scooter, welcome aboard to the... By the way, they changed the name now since we're in here. The new morning show, instead of being called Los and Tug and Rhino, it's now Flounder and the Boys, the morning show. So anyway, Scooter, how's it going, man? Welcome aboard.
The golden pipes of the Stain himself.
The Stain, the most dangerous minister in America.
I am I know it's just for one day, but I cannot tell you how grateful I am to hear you guys on air again.
Well, you're very kind. You're a long. I mean, I know your name from way back. You've been a follower, I guess, since the 90s, I think, probably.
You still owe Lucas a pony.
Yeah, that's right. And again, for those who don't have no idea what's going on, back in the radio days, frequently people would call in and have their child call in on the talk show and say a little something and a little fun. And I would always try to be obnoxious in some way. And when Scooter called in, had his little kid, Lucas was what, like 6 or 7 at the time, I think. I don't even remember.
Something like that, yeah.
And he was very nice kid. He was talking very excited. And I said, by the way, Lucas, I said, I don't think I'm supposed to tell you this, but for your birthday, your daddy's going to get you a pony. Well, of course, his daddy had no intention of getting him a pony. So anyway, yeah. So that was one of the many little tricks we pulled on our fans who called in. Anyway, Scooter, reaction to the election. What did you think? Any comments? Are we screwed? Are we happy? What's your reaction?
I'm thankful that Stinky did not win last night. Yeah. And apparently she actually did concede, sort of.
Yeah, that's amazing. She actually said, well, I guess I didn't win this time.
I want to see it on Twitter.
Yeah. I want to see her publicly.
Or at least a news conference or something, but God knows that's never going to happen.
Yeah. I'm sure she's already packed up to go back to Hollywood or something.
The grand tradition of Guy Milner and Michael Lomax, lose and leave.
Guy Milner.
He was a Floridian the whole time he was running.
Michael Lomax. I haven't heard that name in 30 years either.
I never forget.
Was that Fulton County what?
And he ran for mayor.
But he was Fulton County Commissioner, wasn't he? If I remember. Oh, my God. Hey, Scooter, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving in advance. I hope the family's doing great, and hi to your little one. I hope one day he gets his pony.
Real quick, we also have a call from Bill from Kennesaw. He has a quick little story he wants to share with you.
Excellent. Well, let's get him out. Can we have time right now? Let's go. Bill from Kennesaw. Welcome aboard. The morning, I don't even know what we call this, the boys here. Hiya, Bill. How's it going?
What's up, brothers? What's up? Look, man, so disappointed in where we are right now. And I guess for me, the hardest thing is for people to not realize that, first of all, if we would have, I'm thrilled that right now it looks like we're going to take the House. Yeah. Thank God for that.
I think that's clear.
Because if we wouldn't have, then essentially what the American people would have been telling Joe Biden is, what you're doing is okay, and let's keep going. Because I don't see him changing directions.
No.
I really don't. And I was telling my buddy the other day, you know what? If you're going to tell me that you're happy with where we are, you're stupid.
Yeah,
you've lost your. I can't say that word.
Yeah, no. We'll say it for you, Bill. Don't worry. I'm sure I'll pop it out once.
So stay tuned.
No, it's very and Bill, what kills me is that they know better. You can't tell me that there are actually middle of the road liberal Democrat, but your old fashioned sort of just moderate Democrats who actually believe that we should have open borders and take care of the millions of people who just come in and expect to get somebody to take care of them, that it's okay to talk to your 7-year-old about changing his gender if he feels like it one day, and to claim the country was based totally on slavery and racism, and we've never been any better. It's just everything they stand for makes no sense.
It's worse than that for me. It's worse than that for me because I'm a proud black Republican, and I talk with black people all the time, and I tell them, so you're going to tell me that it's okay for that black Democrat to come in your community with a bucket of empty promises.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you're going to help them put more empty promises in the same damn bucket.
Yeah.
Oh, there. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that
No,
word. But you know what I'm saying.
I think you're also right. But and the good news may be, look what happened in Miami-Dade County. They hadn't gone a Republican for 20 years. And DeSantis is kind of the new look at the new kind of younger Republican Party, where he's more of a common sense guy. He's not a mean tweeter. He's just saying, no, we're not going to do that. Remember when the feds announced, we're going to send some poll watchers into Florida to make sure you guys are on the up and up, and he said, go to hell. You're not coming into Florida. You're not coming into our watch our votes. You got no business coming in here, so leave us the hell alone. Now, that's not mean, but it's saying we're not taking this. I mean, that to me is what the Republicans need to do, is say, we're done. We're just not going to do this anymore.
And I've talked with the guys. I said, so you're telling me that defunding the police?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Okay, what neighborhood does that affect?
Well,
and you're okay with that?
Yeah, and again, Bill, I promise you, especially if you're black, I think you represent more of the black people I know who may still be Democrats at heart, but they don't believe in the stuff that these Ocasio-Bagbangi and Stupidio and the squad believe. They don't believe in that stuff. I mean, we're all the same. We want to have a job. We want to put a little money in the bank, pay our bills, have our kids get a future, maybe take a vacation once in a while, and maybe hopefully retire one day without being in a poorhouse. I mean, we're all in that same position. And as a black man better than I do, that the things that affect you are also the things that affect the most of us. We have way more in common as conservatives than these far left weirdos have done for the last 2 years in this country.
I mean, I boil it down to this. You know what? Me and my wife, we made some serious sacrifices along the way for our boys to give them the opportunities that's not afforded to a lot. But I made that damn decision. I did. No one made that decision for me. I'm a free-thinking individual. And, I've been in business for myself for almost 25 years. Yeah. And no one gave me that. No one gave me that.
Yeah.
I worked my butt off to get to where I am. Yeah. And yet, people want to stand in. You want to stand in line and wait for a handout?
Well, not only that, they're telling you, you're too dumb to be able to get an ID, Bill. Sorry, because you're black. Obviously, you're going to be discriminated against because you can't get an ID to vote.
I'm a traitor.
Oh, my God.
I'm a traitor. I have been, I work with youth groups, and I've had parents come. You forgot where you come from. And I look at them, and I tell them, no, that's where you're wrong. Every morning I get up and I remember where I came from.
You're not a victim. You don't come. You don't come from victimhood. They want you to feel like a victim and get back at somebody for making you a victim. It's nonsense.
My mom and dad, they did the best they can with what they had to work with. But along the way, people told me you can be whatever you want to be. And you know what? And I guess I was so dumb I believed that.
Thank God, though. I know. Bill, listen, great talking to you, my friend. Keep the faith. Get your friends out to vote again. We got it. We can't let this happen again. Another runoff, and I'm scared about the last runoff. We lost 2 Senate seats, and it changed our country. Georgia is to blame for everything in America that's wrong today. It's Georgia Republican voters for staying home at the last runoff. If we do it again, I'm leaving. I mean, there's no hope. Honestly.
South Carolina looking good
there
right
you go,
now.
baby.
Florida.
Bill, thanks, man. All right, Bill, thanks, my friend. Have a great day. 7-5, buddy. Well, that's cool.
There's a guy on Twitter kind of summed up the whole election last night. The boat is sinking. Don't rock the boat.
Yeah. And start bailing. I mean, bail and then patch the holes. Bail it out, patch the holes, bail it out, and get it floating again. I mean, and it's so simple. I still don't believe it. I still can't believe the results of. I mean, I just can't believe it.
And Bortz pointed this out earlier. It all boils down. The last 3 or 4 generations have been taught, indoctrinated in government schools by socialist, unionized teachers, and we did not pay attention to what the kids were being taught.
Well, 2 of the major things that happened, speaking of public education in schools, 1, no longer is there any prayer in public schools.
Nope.
Which is, constitutionally, but still, let's think about the differences in our country in the 40s and 50s.
60s.
In the 60s until 71 or 2 or whatever.
Early 70s.
69, maybe
we were
71.
praying in the early 70s.
Yeah.
In
So
DeKalb.
no more praying in school, and also no more Pledge of Allegiance. And if there is a Pledge of Allegiance, they don't have to stand up and say it if they don't feel like it. I mean, whoever heard of that? I seriously. Oh, you want to brainwash your kids? Yes, I do. I want our children to grow up believing, oh my God, I pledge my allegiance. Again, go to the Red Skeleton. Google Red Skeleton's 1954 Pledge of Allegiance or whatever it was. I pledge my allegiance. I'm pledging my faith and support. I'm pledging who I am to my country.
What year was Apollo 13? Do you remember? Early 70s. It had to be, 71 maybe? Because 11 was 69.
Yeah,
so maybe
71 or 2.
Third grade, Mrs. Musselman she asked us to pray in class for Apollo 13 to get home safely.
Yeah. Well, of course, she can't do that today.
No, she couldn't do that.
She'd be fired.
Yes, she'd be fired.
And the parents would
And that was
dox her.
That was Columbia Elementary over in DeKalb County.
Yeah. And again, the point I'm making is not that we should all go back to all those things, but look at the changes that happened because of a couple of very basic cultural standards we had. Mm-hmm. We believe in prayer, offering prayers to be better, have a better solution, and that we pledged allegiance to our nation, that we believed in America. Oh, America's a racist country. No, it's not. We elected a black man twice, you idiot, elected by white people. Barack Hussein Puttitat was elected by white people. Mm-hmm. The same white people who, by the way, were responsible for changing blacks having to be in the back of the bus. If it weren't for white folks, we'd still be living in the, Jim Crow stuff. Anyway.
Yay, white people.
No, well, I'm just saying, you can't, who ever heard of such a thing? I mean, you don't need to take credit or blame for something, just stop talking to me. That's nonsense. It's not a thing.
Gary says, Kimmer, you're running around like a headless chicken this morning.
Nothing new. Perfect.
Expect.
Uh-oh. Trouble.
Nope, we got just some social media for you guys.
Social media? All right. What is? Oh, you want live
Facebook
on Facebook
Live?
Oh my gosh!
Why we're on air?
Sorry, you had to see this, people. I'm not a I'm really. It's not good. Oh my God!
Give the number out again.
Yeah, okay, here's the phone number. Okay, here's the phone. Area 404-741-1230. 404-741-1230. We want your phone calls because, what we say is one thing, but what you say is more important. And again, I know if you're on the app on your phone, you have to get out of the app for a second, make the call, and then go right back on the app, and you'll be fine. And when you're on hold, now I assume, Flounder, when they're on hold, they can hear us,
yes,
right?
they can hear us.
Okay, so if you call in and we put you on hold, you can still hear the show.
It's like a real radio station.
It's like actual radio.
All the bells and whistles and everything.
It's been so long.
There's music. There's music.
I'm just not used to this. We have microphones in studio. Look at it. People with phones and equipment, and we got clocks and TV sets.
You used to have people.
I used to have people. Staff.
Have your people
call. We got Georgia Bulldogs over here. Oh, my Lord. Anyway, we got it all. So it's 404-741-1230. I hear the music, And I think so.
When we come back, we have a couple callers for you as well.
More callers, too. 404-741-1230. And again, it's your show. Let's have some fun. We'll talk elections. And what else? I mean, come on. It's an election show, but we're here live. So God bless America. We'll be back. Here we go. Look out. Stand by. Stand by. Look out. Crazy. Yeah, they do. Yeah. Sorry.
And they're right.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me. It's only the Kimmer with John Lennon. And here's why we're playing John Lennon.
All right.
With Pete Davis and Flounder.
I was wondering.
At the controls. This was a day, boy, I just must have punched that in my headphones here. All right, here we go. On this day in 1967, the first issue of Rolling Stone magazine rolled off the presses, founded by Jen Warner, to be about music, pop culture, and politics. Rolling Stone magazine. However, on the cover, wearing a sort of a netted helmet and signature glasses, John Lennon. And inside was a free roach clip. Inside the first issue of Rolling Stone magazine was a free roach clip.
What a disappointment that magazine has become.
Now, I'm not sure what that is. Is that for when you collect the anyway, I haven't read Rolling Stone magazine. I haven't seen
it's
it
awful.
in 20,
They turned to a political
years.
magazine.
Is there? I have no idea. Really? Is that?
And then Jan Winter decided he was a girl.
Is it Yen? Jan? It's Jen. Jan? Is that the call him?
Hunter Thompson used to make fun of him all the time.
Yeah, it's like who's the guy? Jan? Somebody who did the Miami Vice theme. Jan Werner or somebody.
He just died last few years.
Yeah,
like Jan Vincent or something.
Yeah, so whatever. Anyway, that was Rolling Stone magazine with a.
By the way,
clip.
this will probably be my last show.
How do you figure that?
Because tomorrow I'm going to be the only white person at the first screening of Black Panther.
No, you did that once before, didn't you? Tell the little people.
And back then it didn't matter.
Well, tell them when you.
I was the only white guy out somewhere in Stone Mountain to Black Panther. No one cared. No one said a thing.
Yeah.
But this time there's actually warnings on Twitter.
Yeah.
White people better not show up the first week.
They don't want white people to take the places of black people who want to see the movie before you do because they're black, so therefore they should get first preference. And if you're a white person going to see Black Panther, you're depriving a black person of the opportunity to see it before you do. You dirty, racist bastard.
No. Which is why I'm going when the sun is still out.
You lousy son of a...
And I will be strapped.
You're carrying, aren't you?
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm not going into a movie theater without my gun. Are you serious?
Are you nuts?
They better start frisking because, anyway.
Hey, I got the last seat at the back. In fact, it's probably a handicap seat.
Back in the
so
corner.
So I can run for the door. No, I'm kidding. There will be no problem. There's not going to be no problem.
Aces and eights, baby. Have your back to the wall so you can see everybody coming in.
What was that? Wild Bill Hickok.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Real quick, I think we got Roman on the line. He wanted to say hello to you guys.
Roman on 106.3. Roman from Woodstock. Hey, Roman, welcome. It's great to talk to you. Welcome aboard. What do you think?
Hey, good morning, guys. So the word of the day today is nacho, and Stacey Abrams is nacho governor.
I wonder if this will actually teach her a lesson. I'm hoping.
Oh, my God. I am so sick and tired of seeing her and all that. To be honest with you, both her and Raphael Warnock just this whole time. But in all seriousness, and y'all kind of alluded to it, kind of talking about the movie that y'all are going to go see. What effect on the craziness that is Georgia politics do you feel that this, special tax status that all these film studios and all that are leaving California, coming to Georgia have had on the state of Georgia elections?
Honestly, I guess I've heard talk about this too. To me, if a movie studio comes to Georgia and makes movies and has jobs and people are making a living making movies, I mean, the kind of movies they make isn't the issue. I mean, the fact they're making a business in Georgia is great for me. I mean, it helps the tax base. People are making money and everybody's got to be happy about it. The fact they keep making these stupid movies is fine by me because nobody's going to go watch them. So I don't think it has any. I never thought that a movie theater that makes liberal movies being in Georgia has any effect on the election. But I don't know. If they make crappy movies, the community is going to decide whether they're any good or not by not going. I don't think it's a thing. Honestly, I think it's more. It's just people get into a rut and say, "I'm not voting for that guy," and it's just it doesn't make any sense. And it's the way they're raised. The media, big tech. We're still facing the same thing. The good news is that Musk taking over Twitter sounds like at least he's going to try to be a little more honest on both sides of an issue. But again, again, it's mainstream media and big tech, and they're still, they were saying it on MSNBC and CNN. All the same places are saying the same thing. Well, there's no inflation, there's no big deal. Nobody cares about crime. Hell, Governor Hochul in New York won, saying, the people are, that's not that big a deal. You Republicans are making a big issue on crime. It's not that big a deal.
Why do you care so much? Why do you care so much about putting people in jail?
You keep talking about crime like that. People care about crime. It's not an issue. And this inflation is going to go away. It's not that big a deal. And they won. So that's what scares me. It's appalling. So I don't know.
What scares me is they're going to win up there, and it'll keep getting worse, and they'll move down here and do the same thing.
Yeah. Did we lose Roman?
We did. We got a new caller. Bill's on the line.
We have double Bills right here. Bill, welcome aboard. Welcome to the old, what do we call it? The show. It's all right. 106.3 show right here.
There you go. Great
Hey,
name.
Bill, what's happening, man? Oh, Bill.
Hello?
Well, we thought we had him.
Bill?
Let's keep trying. Bill, you still there? We'll try one more time. Again, the number is 404-741-1230.
So we don't have Bill?
404-741-1230.
Can we play that sound from Gabe Gutierrez? NBC News last night had Gabe Gutierrez here.
This, yeah.
And he was here in Atlanta doing the thing
NBC
between
Network.
Warnock and Herschel Walker. And here's how he opened up the whole thing. Listen to the difference of how he talks about Herschel and how he talks about the Reverend. That's how he couched the two. One was a minister that was tied kind of to Joe Biden and inflation. Yeah. The other one is unfit for office, a pathological liar who paid for 2 abortions.
Abortion king, yeah. Uh-huh.
And he did it with a straight face, too.
That's there you are.
Lester Holt.
Again, this morning the information came out that after the election in Florida, every single newspaper in Florida endorsed Crist.
Yeah.
The former governor, he's lost as a Republican, lost as an independent, and lost as a Democrat. So anyway, Charlie Crist, who was a former Georgia governor, running again this time against DeSantis, Florida governor. And every single newspaper endorsed Charlie Crist. And he got creamed. What does that tell you? I mean, that's where we are.
He's the only man in Florida history to lose statewide office as a Republican, an independent, and a Democrat.
Yeah.
And they all supported him, all the newspapers.
The media all in his pocket, and they got creamed. I mean, there you are. I mean, that's the explanation. The media, big tech, the communications in this country.
By the way, when Gutierrez did his report, the polls were still open when he did that report. People were still voting when he did his report.
Wow, that's just...
a trashing Walker and almost praising the Reverend. He was a Reverend.
The Reverend, yeah. The right Reverend.
Well, if it does go into a runoff, does Walker take it?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised.
I think so this time. I think Walker
but again, in fact, I think I would be surprised. I'm scared. I'm nervous. I think, I don't know what happened last time. I don't understand why all those hundreds of thousands of Republican voters didn't show up to make the election count.
And, I was surprised. Flounder yesterday said he got in and out in a minute. Several other people said there was no line.
There was no line. I walked in. I voted in under a minute.
Yeah. How can that be?
Well, now, is there early voting for the runoff?
I don't know.
I'm not sure what the rule is on early on vote on run. I don't remember last time. Was there early voting last election on the runoff? I don't remember.
Huh.
Oh, my God, there's the music. Oh, no, what have I done?
You still have time. You still have time.
Oh, sorry.
Time to do what?
I got so nervous.
Time to screw this up.
How we doing? No, don't answer that.
Get the phone number.
It's early. And say, all right, we're getting into spring of the. You don't start off and drive. You start low gear. You start off a little slow. You get your wheels under you. Get used to it again.
I thought you meant you don't start out and drive time.
No, well that too. You don't want to put them in the afternoons. Like 9 in the morning or something. Aren't that many people? At work and doing stuff. Take a chance. Why
don't go crazy?
Ruin the whole damn program. All right, are we done? Are we doing a break here? All right,
we're about to break.
All right, have a hair but a hoop. Oh, look out! Here we go. So it's nice.
He's a great guy.
Hey, I'm trying to talk here.
Ding, everybody.
Look out.
Couldn't hear that, could they?
I have no idea. How you doing? Look out. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer with Pete Davis, sidekick producer and sports raconteur extraordinaire, and the mechanical mangler at the controls, Flounder. We're on 106.3 for crying out loud.
Yes.
It's an incredible story. By the way, boys, right now, as folks who know, we do a podcast 3 days a week, the Kimmer Show, and normally 3 days a week. And I always bring the boys a little piece of candy, a little teeny little candy thing.
Where's my candy?
I forgot to give it to you today. By the way, I ran out of the Nestle's Crunches because I've been doing.
bastard.
However, I did bring you a Reese's peanut butter cups and
Oh, my God.
the special individually wrapped chocolate.
Those are delicious. The individual ones, I almost like those. Those are my favorite.
Yep.
Oh,
well, I'm
my
going to get
goodness.
mine. I've got those for you, Flounder, right there.
You know,
There
this
we go.
will
Yes,
make
sir.
up for me making an arse of myself a few minutes ago.
There you go. I'm sorry. I didn't even talk about the song. Play the song again. Here we go. All right, check this out now. This is Bachman Turner Overdrive. You ain't seen nothing yet. And on this day in 1974, no, play. Here you go. It went to number 1 in the singles chart with this song. And Randy Bachman, listen now. It's coming. I think we're going to play it here. Just 1 second. Here we go.
Any minute.
Here we go. Stand by. Well, anyway,
Oh, my God.
it's baby. There you go. I'm sorry, I had to wait for it to show up. Baby. And the reason I did that is because Randy Bachman stuttered through the lyrics of the demo recording in the studio as a private joke about his brother Gary, who had a speech impediment. So Randy stuttered like that, and the record company said, "No, this is really great. It's a way better take than the non-stammering version." So they used it, and it became a huge number 1 hit.
Great memory, Southwest DeKalb, mid-'70s when that song came out. We were singing that song an entire year. We loved that song.
Yeah, it's a very catchy.
Great song.
1970.
BTO was a great group.
1974. Sorry,
74?
Bachman Turner Overdrive. Yeah. Anyway, I thought it was kind of an interesting little story.
By the way,
Yes.
I'm out in the hallway. I'm trying to go through this whole thing without doing something stupid and embarrassing.
Well, that's impossible.
So I came back to come in, and I'm the only one outside there. And our old studios had real heavy doors, like nuclear bomb shelter doors.
Yeah.
And you had to put your shoulder into
you
it
had
and
to
push
lean
it up.
into it, yeah.
So I'm in there leaning into it, and I'm going, oh, my God, I've really, I'm not as strong as I used to be, I guess. I can't get this door open.
Yeah.
And Flounder's looking at me like, what are you doing? And he comes out, and there's a handle on the door.
Well, there you are.
I'd never seen the handle on one of these doors. And there's a guy down the hallway
Never heard of
just
that.
laughing at me.
Well, of course.
It was like the Far Side. Remember the Far Side cartoon where the fat kid is sitting there leaning against the door, and it said pull.
Yeah.
It said pull, and I'm like banging up against the door like an idiot.
Well, we're now in the midst of professionals, people.
They have handles, handles
people,
even.
These people have jobs. They work in
handles.
buildings.
And he's like laughing at me.
cards.
They're
and
used to
things.
this whole, professional commercial industry thing going on there.
Who's the newbie? Can't open a door.
We've been on the outside so long.
Yeah, seriously, they want to keep us on
They
the
don't
outside.
belong
You
anywhere
got a
anymore.
handle on the handle?
Got a handle on something. I know that. Oh my
hard
God.
to handle.
Anyway, let's see a couple things. Oh, by the way, just a couple of curiosity things. This morning, I have not driven in morning pre-dawn rush hour on 400 or 25 in a very long time with all the construction stuff and the new stuff. And so this morning, it was still dark. It was 6 o'clock, whatever. And I'm driving down here, 400 and then to 285. And I mean, I think it may well be better when it's done, but it's still a nightmare. And the problem is that people are still tailgating you like crazy because they know where they're going. I didn't know where I was going. I mean, I had the Waze on because I didn't know what the turns are going to
Well,
be.
the thing is, I know exactly what you're talking about because in the dark, the roads are very narrow because they're doing work on either side of it. So
very hard to pick up.
But I mean, I drive it every day, so I'm seeing the improvement. It is definitely getting better, especially right where Pete is. and there's some
Sandy
additional
Springs
lanes that are going through 400 now. So
it's getting better.
It's getting better, but it still sucks.
But the thing I noticed is I was coming south from Alpharetta down into where are we? Sandy Springs?
No, this is Smyrna.
This
is Cobb.
Cobb County.
Mariana? That's right. Oh, hell, that's right. Ballpark. Sorry, I wasn't thinking.
What's your name?
All right. I've been sick. All right. I'm on medication. Anyway, so I'm driving south on 400. There were more headlights going north.
Oh, yeah. People work up there.
400.
Yeah, they work up there now. It's like both ways commute now.
I mean, at 6 o'clock in the morning going north on 400, it was nothing but headlights.
Alpharetta. They're working in Alpharetta. Yeah.
Well, just a little thing, and again, I've driven these two roads in rush hour in a very long time, so that was remarkable.
By the way, a couple guys here. Jero says it took me longer to get my license out of my wallet than to vote. And during the BTO debacle, there, Sophia was yelling, "Ring the bell!"
You forgot the bell.
Sorry,
I forgot the bell.
Sophia. It's a tough crowd here. All right, the bell in our podcast when they hate what I'm saying or I'm dribbling on or something or other, they'll ring the bell and get me back on topic, whatever.
Like now.
All right, I got a topic for you here right now. Let's see. I always have a little. Let's say you're an idiot.
You're an idiot.
Thank you. I have always told people that if you are ever asked who you voted for at an exit poll after you've voted, if you come out of the precinct, out of the ballot place, and you cast your vote, and you're walking to your car, and there's a toll taker there saying, "Who did you vote for?" What do you think?
A bell.
A bell has been given to me.
Oh my God!
Mike.
You now have a bell. Okay, all right. You vote. You cast your ballot. You walk out of the door, and there's a guy there doing a survey. It's called exit polling, and I think you're all familiar with them, right? Exit polls, and they wanted to see who you voted for. And the reason they do that is because then they take the information early back to their headquarters, and then the media people will extrapolate the findings of the exit polling, and so they will try to be first at picking who won.
Yes,
okay?
That's right.
And the only reason they do the exit polls is so they can try to be number one at guessing who won as early as possible. Now, for the fact of the matter is, at 7 o'clock, it's over. Okay, so two things about exit polls and about counting the ballots. First of all, I always say, not for normal pollings, but for exit polls, you should always lie. You should always lie. If somebody comes out and asks you who you voted for, always lie. And the reason I do this is because back 50 years ago, I remember I used to know Mike. I knew Mike Royko, not really well, but I played golf with Mike Royko. Chicago columnist. I mean, you know him. I don't know whether Flounders even. Have you even heard of Mike Royko?
No, nobody.
You may not even have heard the name Mike Royko.
Today's the first day I'm hearing of this name.
Anyway, so as an old timer, but those in the media business would certainly know Mike Royko was a very famous columnist, known worldwide, a curmudgeon, a cranky old guy in Chicago, knew politics, and I mean he was the source of political shenanigans stuff in Chicago for 50 years. Okay, so one night on television, I remember they're talking about it was a presidential election, and Mike Royko's on the set as a commentator, and the guy was one big time media researcher guy is saying, well, our research indicates that it's an incredible upset that Mayor Richie Daley will not win the mayor's race in the city of Chicago. And Royko looked at him and said, You are crazy. He said, well, our exit polls clearly show, and Royko says, you are nuts. There's no way. You are so wrong. And he was wrong by a mile. And the reason was people were lying on the exit polls just to make fun of the guys who would come out and say, I can't believe what an upset this was. And of course, it wasn't an upset because they all lied on the exit polls just to make you look like an idiot. And I got such a big kick out of that. And so I've always said to people, if you ask after you voted, lie just for the fun of it to make them look like fools, because here's the point. At 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, whatever you're into, at 7 o'clock, it's over. There's already a winner. We don't know who it is yet, but I love it when on TV the anchorman will say, well, it's at 8:42 this evening. Oh boy, Ron DeSantis had a 14-point lead, but now 20 minutes later, he's got a 27-point lead. He's really gaining. He's really gaining a lot of votes. He's not gaining votes. The votes are already in. They're done. It's over. The winner was at 7 o'clock. We just haven't counted it yet. So they say, well, he's gaining votes. And he's not gaining votes. They're just counting more votes. I mean,
I'm glad you're saying this because I'm sitting there watching last night. I'm going, why can't we figure out a way where nobody reports anything until you have the final tally? And around 11 o'clock at night, Eastern time, you say, here's who won in Georgia and here's who won in New York. And you just put it out there.
It's a media ego thing.
It's an ego.
They're stroking each other's to say not only, we called the race. It doesn't make
no one
cares.
Race
is over. It doesn't matter who calls it.
Who won
over.
it the last time? Who was first the last time?
Yeah.
Nobody remembers.
Doesn't make any difference.
Well, one thing that was impressive last night is that Florida had 75% of their votes counted by 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Florida was the joke in 2000.
Remember, and again, because of that, America needs to run that model every time there's an election.
Florida and Ohio now lead the way. They are perfect almost in this.
And remember, it was the Democrats who were the election deniers also. And by the way, isn't it funny? All of a sudden, right before the election, the day before the election, the Democrat leadership came out and said, ladies and gentlemen, it's possible that these Dominion voting machines can be hacked. We know in Arizona there, we have these problems. These Dominion voting machines can be hacked, and they could, affect the outcome of the election. These are Democrats charging exactly what the Republicans said and got sued for.
And kicked off Twitter.
Yeah, it got not only kicked off social media, but are being sued by Dominion for saying, your machines were hacked. And
the pillow guy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. And the Democrats are now saying, well, if the Republicans win in Arizona, it's because they hacked the Dominion machines are no good. I hope you get sued. I can't believe it. You freaking phonies, you hypocritical scuzzbags.
Then Florida, when you cast your vote, you can go online and follow your vote through the process. Yeah. That's how cool. And Britt Hume, it was funny last night. He goes, I've just got the greatest tweet ever when it comes to elections. And they go, what is it, Britt? And Britt goes, well, some Democrat was claiming that Florida was Republican because of gerrymandering.
Did you see his shoes last night?
Britt Hume?
Yes.
I didn't look at his shoes.
Well, no, because you know how they had the almost like a big round table. He had this nice suit on, and then he had Nike sneakers on.
Well, they're all doing it with suits.
Comfortable.
Yeah.
But could they put maybe one more person on that dais?
Yeah, I had like 7 people up there or something.
And they're all talking at the same time.
Yeah.
It's not ESPN.
Now, if they're going to have, Katie Pavlich on the end seat or something, that's a whole. Just see her the other day in that red dress and those matching red high heels.
That's a woman.
Oh, my God.
That is a woman.
Too much woman for me, I know that.
No, I'll take it on.
That's a lot of girl right there, my friend. Oh, God.
You want to hear a poll?
And she's smart. I mean, I love her. She's a ball butt. She carries guns. She rides horses. I mean, she's a woman. That's a freaking woman, man.
Yeah. Fox News poll.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Supreme Court job performance? 51% approve. Okay, that's the country's
50,
about
50,
abortion.
Yeah.
But the FBI job performance. This is a Fox News poll.
All right.
58% of Americans approve of what the FBI is doing.
What? Oh, I don't believe it.
How could they?
Oh, my God. Oh, you know why? Because the Democrats are still in power. That's why.
Right. And Department of Justice, 54% approve of the Department of Justice being weaponized and all they're doing. 54%.
That's how they get away with it.
Because we got idiots, and half the country are idiots.
We could give you one example after another of how the FBI has been weaponized against conservatives.
Parents.
Well, the FBI in collusion with the White House, remember this, in collusion with the White House and the teachers' unions made the determination that parents who scream at school board meetings are domestic terrorists and danger to America. The FBI put that in a document. And remember when Chrissy Ray, the cowardly, yellow-bellied, chicken-livered head of the FBI from Atlanta, the disgrace of Atlanta, actually said, oh, well, I'm not familiar with that document. Well, it's your document.
Merrick Garland signed off on it.
Exactly. And he didn't know anything about it either, apparently. Yeah, honestly, these people. Just scandalous. Shameful, scandalous. Un-American traitors. The way they're leading. I mean, the assault, but putting 24 armed SWAT agents with weapons of war, unquote, at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago, including in the Bay, in case he was afraid that some cook was going to escape with a document or something on a rowboat.
A cigarette boat like Miami Vice.
Have a big 700 horsepower smuggling boat.
You got Don Johnson chasing him in another cigarette boat.
In fact, I mentioned that early because this was a day I got here somewhere. That guy Jan Hammer on this day
Jan Hammer.
In 1985, Jan Hammer went to #1 on the singles chart with Miami Vice theme on this very day. Anyway, I don't just
what was great about that show was the bomb. I even bought my girlfriend in San Diego bought me a suit like Don Johnson.
I used to watch
it was for 1 year, and then the idiots at NBC says, you know what?
Yeah,
let's put him up against Dallas.
Yeah, let's do that. With JR. That's JR. Yeah, JR.
Victoria
man, those were the days, all right. But remember that was. But think about the whole thing of Miami Vice and the pastel colors
the thing,
and
man.
that car. Yeah, absolutely. Well, things certainly are.
Whatever happened to the poor black guy?
Oh,
name me his name.
I thought of it the other day because I remember he claimed that he was going to be the next big black superstar.
He did.
Yeah.
Philip Michael Glass, was that his name?
No, Philip Glazer, not Glazer.
No, that's
Paul
Michael
something
Glazer
like that.
was a Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah, something like that. You're close. We could probably Google it if we had somebody to look up things. Yeah, if we really cared to damn. Anyway, here's again. We want to get phone calls. We're coming up at a break in a couple of minutes, but let's get phone calls. And again, if you're on the app, you'll obviously have to get out of the app to make the call. But when you make the call, if you're on hold, you'll be able to hear the show while you're on hold. So, and then you can go back on the app. So here's a number, and we love you. We really want to get phone calls. What we say is going to be really boring here in the next 12 seconds. 404. 741 1230. 404-741-1230. We got a couple of nice notes here. My sweet daughter, Jennifer, the clonkhead, said, sounded awesome, Dad. Brent wrote in to say, awesome to hear you guys again. I mean, we've had some, some very... Oh, stand up. No.
The boss is here.
Is he shaking his hand at us?
He said, get out.
David Dickey just walked in. I don't think he's very happy. I think he's got Glenn Beck on the line in there now. Where the hell's Glenn Beck?
Get him on the hotline.
I'm sorry. I swear to God, his man's alive. He's going to be fine. He'll come back. This isn't real. It's okay. Nothing bad happened.
We got him tied up.
Democracy is not dead yet. It's only the Kimmer. Look out. It's like almost 20 after, I think. I can't read that clock.
Yeah, it
on 106.3, the only American radio station that doesn't really suck. 106.3. God bless America. Thank you. Okie dokie. Yeah, look out. We're back. We were chatting with our boss, actually, and having a very nice chat with David. So, anyway, that was kind of fun. How you doing? It's only me. It's only the Kimmer with Pete Davis, sidekick, producer, and sports raconteur extraordinaire, and the mechanical mangler flounder at the controls on 106.3. Again, we used to be on the radio together along many years and stuff. And I've known Pete, 30 years, worked together something. Oh, your mic's not on.
No, I got it.
Oh, there you go.
Early 90s.
No, your mic's still not. I can't hear you.
Yeah, okay, here we go.
There you go.
Flounder.
And action.
Give us that candy back.
What's the password?
Crazy. I can't get the door open. I can't get the mic on.
Oh, it's a poor guy.
I've known you since what, 90? When did you start at GST?
Yeah, 91 or late 92, 91, I guess. Yeah, so
wow,
it's 30 years.
Yeah,
31 years. Hard to believe. Anyway.
So not that long. You guys are just getting to know each other.
Yeah, so we do a podcast, but again, we're in here just kind of filling in for the day. And again, Glenn Beck is fine. It's just a one-day thing. Don't be upset.
We're giving him food. He's all right.
He's in the corner and happy. We have coloring books. Everything's going to be fine.
Little Coke bottle.
Yeah, here you go. A little something on the side.
Got a couple callers, too, when you're ready.
All right, we'll do them right now.
We got fish sticks right now.
Fish sticks?
Fish sticks.
I love it. Fish sticks. How's it going? Welcome aboard.
Thanks, Kimmer. It's Chuck Fisher, better known as Fish Stick.
Hey, Chuck.
And,
what's up, man?
Aren't the coloring books in the corner for you, man?
What, in the corner? What now? What?
I've been listening to you guys forever. I'm the guy that called you on the radio and told you he was a permanent road guard no matter where he was assigned.
I do remember that. Road guards out.
Yep.
That's right. He never got back in again, did he?
Yeah. First off, though, I want to thank Dickie Media for letting you guys have a spot, even if it is for just one day. I mean, I know you get. I'm retired. I set an alarm for Friday? You get on there for
7:30. Yeah,
whatever.
Something like that. Friday morning, 7:25 in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And then it's just so great. You guys haven't lost a thing. Keep it up. I'm listening to you guys on the app 30 miles west of Augusta.
Excellent. Well, the only thing we've lost is our jobs, but other than that, we've...
Don't fall asleep. Don't fall asleep driving that road.
Yeah, be careful out there.
For sure.
It's a boring road.
For sure.
Anyway, well, listen,
all right.
Thanks, man.
Hey,
yes,
Kim,
sir.
Are you still driving your own car?
Well, the one I had before this one turned out to be a piece of crap that cost me a fortune, and I got anyway. So just the quick car thing. Yesterday, I had my nightmare of a flat tire. Alpharetta, Georgia, is all steel plates and construction barrels and orange cones and debris and workmen and jackhammers and debris flying everywhere, every single major road. I've had 5 flat tires in less than a year and a half, including the one yesterday, and the flat was because of a teeny little poke. There was no nail in the tire. It was just a teeny little hole that something in the road of a little teeny pinprick pricked the outside of the edge of my tire, and it cost me not only a tow truck to tow it there, because the car I have doesn't have a spare tire. Any cars like this don't have spare tires. It has to be towed, so I had to tow, $130 tow job, plus the tire, plus the balance, plus the alignment.
Wait, hold on. You paid $100 for a tow job?
Yeah, there you go.
I can get you 50 on Cheshire Bridge right now.
You should have seen her. Anyway, so it cost me a fortune because a little teeny hole in the tire because of Alpharetta's construction. And it's every major road in Alpharetta and also starting in Roswell now, too. Anyways.
Thanks for bringing that up, Fish
Chuck,
Sticks.
thanks, man. I appreciate it, Fish Sticks.
Well, I mean, is it worth... As painful as it is it better to just stay on 400 than use those other roads?
Well, in fact, what happened yesterday, I'm sorry I'm boring everybody with a stupid car story, but just for the record, as it turned out, I had to get gas. After this all happened, I got my car back. I had to go get gas, and there's a gas station where I go where I have my credit card for. And instead of going to that one, because I would have had to drive down Alpharetta Highway and whatever that cross street is there, Old Milton or whatever, and there's so much construction, I took the long way around to add about 4 or 5 miles to my trip to come up the back way so I didn't have to go through the roads with all the construction barrels. That's how bad it is, and it's everywhere.
All right, getting back to the topic at hand.
We're done now. Back to the actual program.
All that talk about saving democracy and everybody worried about Democrats and Republicans about cheating. Guess what? Fox News poll. Are you confident that eligible voters will be allowed to vote? 86% says yes.
It should be 99%.
It should be.
There's no reality that people are not going to be allowed to vote because someone tried to stop them. If you didn't register properly or you moved, and there are a lot of reasons why you shouldn't be allowed to vote if you don't deserve to vote because of a legal reason. But nobody's coming after you to stop. There's no blocking of voters.
Well, you know
what?
what?
Nonsense.
Channel 2 or Channel 11 did a report yesterday, right as the polls were almost about to close, and they interviewed 2 African-American men who said they were denied the vote, that someone had messed with their stuff, and they were being denied to vote, and they were being segregated and all the stuff, and they were in Fulton County. Okay, well, then who's doing it to you?
Yeah.
Democrats.
Yeah. If you can figure out, and Fulton County's,
Yeah.
Well, I think we know.
And out in Johns Creek, they were keeping people from voting for something. They kicked 2 poll workers out. Up in
I heard
Johns. You
about
hear
that. Yeah.
A mother and a son that were working.
They went on Facebook. I don't know what they said.
Social media. They said something which you still don't know what, that was so egregious that people turned them into the actual Fulton County people who turned it into the Secretary of State, Raffensperger. They looked at it and said, "Yeah, we can't have this." So they fired him.
Was it pro?
I don't know.
One way or the other
They won't say.
of an elector? I wonder what that was all about. Well, how could they not say and tell us what it was all about? Say, don't do it next time.
I don't know.
If they don't tell you why the guy got kicked out, then how you know not to do it?
It
must have been bad.
It had to be bad. It's like, I'm going to shoot so-and-so.
Use the N-word or something? I mean, jeez. Anyway, whatever. That whole thing makes me just ridiculous.
Real quick, we got Joe on the line from Marietta.
Joe in Marietta. Thank you for joining us, Joe. Happy day after election, although I'm not very happy with the results so far. But anyway, how are you? Welcome aboard. What's up?
Hey, man. Great. So great to hear you guys' voices again. It's like going back in history. Hey, I do have one thing to say. I disagree with something Pete said. He said that the people that, like 53% agree with what the FBI is doing, he said they're idiots.
Yeah.
Now, most of those people can dress themselves and perform menial tasks. Technically, they're morons.
Yeah, it's a higher level. It's one step up, I think. You're right.
I trained a monkey to do that.
Yeah. So, and I think, hey, if we, sorry about your tire. Why is it always the stupid pricks in life that give you the most problems?
Allegedly.
If there's a runoff between Warnock and Walker, I think we make it simple. We don't have a recall. We just go out to the football field. Whoever's got the best 40-yard dash time, whoever can throw the football the longest, whoever can bench press the most, all settled.
By the way, have you seen the commercial where Reverend Wife Knocker, the deadbeat dad and the slumlord, was actually, running track and doing some physical stuff and looking, like he was trying to be all buff and a tough guy. Yeah, showing that he's an athlete. So I'm an athlete too, just like Herschel White, kind of, which is pretty funny. But anyway.
Well, he's got to be somebody. He's not a preacher.
He's certainly not a man of the cloth. I know that. Anyway, hey, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. You have a great day. I think
we got a couple more calls. Do you want to get to them,
sure,
or do you want
to? Let's do a call. Absolutely.
All right,
Again,
so line 1, Pete, you'll remember this. Tim from Thailand.
Yes, Tim from Thailand. Yes, he was like the longest listener. Yeah,
I'll be there. Hello, Tim from Thailand. How's it going, man?
Yeah, I used to listen to Pete's podcast just to have some American English spoke at me.
Outstanding. Are you still in Thailand or are you back home now?
No, I came back about a year and a half ago. The political situation over there is getting not as pro-Westerner as it used to be. The old king died, and his idiot moron, and I'll use that word specifically, son, is very pro-China, so it was just time to leave while you still could.
Yeah, I remember back when I was in the Marines, it's Phanam Kittikachorn was the leader over there. Remember that guy? Yeah. And, of course, Thailand and Cambodia and all, I thought when Saigon fell and then all of a sudden became pro-America and we had business interests and it became more capitalist-oriented and so forth, I thought that would change the whole Southeast Asian bloc, and I guess it hasn't. So, I don't know.
No, not really. The old king, Bhumipol, was very pro-West. He'd been around since before World War II. Yeah. And then the new king, his son, which I can't even remember.
I guess we can say the domino theory doesn't work at all over there.
It didn't work then. It didn't work now. Anyway.
No, not going to work now. But they're getting very pro-China, so, whatever. But anyway, I was really happy. I turned on YouTube this morning and saw you guys live, and I thought, what the F you is that? And so I've been listening. And my thought was, well, what's the over-under on this show?
3 hours.
Yeah, 3 hours. And that's it. That's the ball game. This is the last.
You guys say just a minute ago, it was just for one day, and I'm like, what? Don't tell me.
Yeah, one day.
Tell me.
A 3-hour tour.
I'm pretty sure that nothing's going to come out of this little experience
except our careers.
Yeah, I got a pretty good feeling that I shouldn't change my resume or anything in the next few minutes. Anyway, great to hear from you, and I know Pete's thrilled because this is kind of like old.
That's like halfway around the world. Somebody's listening. That's pretty cool.
That was cool. We used to have back in the early when the internet and email first really started picking up back in the 90s, we used to get I used to get email every day on the show from all over the world. I mean, that was the first indication to me that there were, just because of the internet and so forth. But anyway, certainly the world's a smaller place now.
Fox News poll: are you concerned about crime? How many people do you think said, I'm concerned about crime?
Well, it's got to be like 88. It should be 100. It's probably 88, 89%. 80, yeah. Well, 80. It should be even higher than obviously. I know. Again, what does that mean? What does the question mean? Am I concerned about crime? Well, right this minute, no. I'm sitting in a studio. But
it was like that one we talked about yesterday.
So I guess I'm concerned about crime every day, yeah.
Was it the Washington Post or New York Times that basically said that why are you so concerned about this? Because in violent crime, you shouldn't be worried because murder is the only one that's up.
Yeah, right. It's only murder.
It's only murder and violent crime.
And again, the FBI, much to their shame and disgrace, once again left out the crime figures for Chicago and Los Angeles.
How could they do that?
Well, because they can do it, Pete. Because they said, we're the FBI, so we're going to fudge the figures so it looks like things are a lot better than they really are. That's the only possible explanation. If it had been because the FBI had the crime figures where the Democrats are saying, see, robberies down, rapes down, burglaries down, murders up a little, but everything's down. But again, see, crime's down, The FBI left out Los Angeles and Chicago. And the only, if it had been because they weren't ready yet or didn't have the figures yet, then the FBI should have said, well, we're not ready to release them yet because we don't have all the figures. Instead, the only possible explanation for why they didn't include two of the most violent crime-filled cities in the history of the world is because they didn't want the figures to look bad. That's your FBI.
Do you know
the same people who have not gone after the people who firebombed and vandalized and threatened all the pro-life clinics and so forth? But sure as hell, you walk across the Capitol grounds or something when you're not supposed to, and you go to solitary confinement.
Portland, Oregon now has a higher murder rate than Mexico City.
That's right. And in fact, didn't they? They just did they throw out their governor? Somebody got. It was either I guess Seattle.
It was close.
Too.
Yeah. Oregon was close.
And finally, the people are saying, cops are quitting, and the people are saying they're not safe. And I mean, it's just ridiculous. Who's in favor of that?
That's here too. Atlanta's got a shortage of police now too.
No kidding, absolutely. Atlanta's a place where Mayor Keisha Bong Bottoms let them take Wendy's. You can take over part of the city. Let's let them do that because we don't want to cause a problem.
I think they're actually bringing those suckers to. They've gone to court with them. There's like 3 of them. I think they're going to catch them for something.
Well, we'll see. Anyway,
it turns out that burning down a Wendy's in your neighborhood is against the law.
Well, no, I can't. I don't think you're so really. I can't.
I know I'm crazy.
I've never heard of such a thing. What about the will of the people? They wanted that burned down. They needed that burned down.
Give Reggie back his Heisman. The poor Reggie Bush.
God.
They have him dressing up in a bag.
That's embarrassing.
They're throwing food at him.
Isn't that embarrassing?
That's embarrassing.
I mean, I was humiliated.
Please give him the man his trophy back.
I mean, that's one thing, but again,
so we can sell
it like a little pet.
Yeah, they're throwing food at him.
Yeah, it's like your little pet or something.
By the way, the little dark-haired girl on the ads is hot, I think.
I'm trying to remember now.
She got dark eyes and dark hair. Works every time.
Dark will do it. Well,
dark will do it.
Ladies, Pete, who is single.
Once you go dark, you're always in the park.
And it ain't no lark either, baby.
Ain't no lark.
Oh, mercy.
That's my mark.
Thank you.
What else are we doing?
Oh, we got a million things. Let's see. Talk about the libertarians. The voting machines, I think, is just freaking hysterical. Wait a second. What's that? We got a call?
We can also take a quick call before we go to break. We've got Clayton calling about voting issues.
Clayton, I used to have a Clayton listener years and years ago. Hello, Clayton. How's it going?
Hey, it's going good, Kimmer. It's good to hear you guys on the radio again.
Thanks, man.
Yep, I was calling about a story I saw on the news about voter suppression, that a woman claimed she had taken 40 applications of residents of a nursing home here in Atlanta and had sent them to Fulton County to get them registered and had not heard back. She got in touch with them. They finally sent her 4 of them, and they said that the other 36 weren't registered. And so she was complaining it was voter suppression, but the story has disappeared. So,
again, and by the way, how many thousands or hundreds of thousands of votes were rounded up at nursing homes and hospitals and senior care centers by liberal Democrats? In fact, we know what happened in the last election when people would say, "Wait a minute, my grandmother said she voted for so and so, but she never voted. She didn't know anything about that." They were doing it for them, which is illegal. It's ballot harvesting.
Exactly.
Yeah, right, man. Clayton, thanks, my friend. And again, the story disappeared, like you said. What do we got? Like 10:41 on that clock?
Ready to go, I think. Yeah.
I see. I was looking at the round clock and not the digital clock. Oh my God!
Wow.
We're going to learn how
really
to
interesting,
tell
isn't
the
it?
time.
You don't have to tell the story of the top of the hour and the bottom of the hour.
Well, I could tell the story of the worst
You
news
son of
director
a-
I ever had.
Don't.
Well, he wrote me a letter.
Don't egg him on.
I used to go on and I would do a tease. Like now, it's like 18 minutes in front of 11. And I would come in and say, coming up at the top of the hour, the latest on the election results, coming up 106.3. And he wrote me a memo saying there's no such thing as top of the hour. I said, what do you mean there's no? You never seen a clock? I had a big fight about it. Jerkhead.
Those days are over. Ken. It's okay.
Sorry. Anyway, 10:40, 11. What is it? 10:42.
Take
41.
this
10:41. Dark hair, dark eyes. Pete wants you. Next on the giant non-news monster. Look out. Here we go.
It was windy last night, too.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's rare.
From the hurricane.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Look out. How's it going? Cue the man. Cue him.
Mr. Right on time.
Down the road again.
Here's Willie Nelson. And it was on this very day in 1990. The Internal Revenue Service seized all of U.S. country singer Willie Nelson's bank accounts and his real estate in connection with a debt for taxes of $16 million. Wow. He paid it all. He came up with the money or made a deal, and then he kept doing concerts. And I got to, okay, how the hell do you you wake up April 16th and say, oh, crap, I forgot that $16 million I owe him. Honey, I thought you mailed that.
You know how he forgot that? I know exactly how. How he forgot that.
He wasn't remembering much. That's why it was in kind of a purple haze.
It all went up in smoke.
Yeah, it was right there,
One of my favorite pictures on the internet is a picture of, 3 highway patrolmen sitting with Willie Nelson and a pound of weed sitting on the car. And they're all smiling.
They pulled over his tour bus and he had 40 pounds of hack or something in there. Anyway, you got to love Willie Nelson.
It's personal, so just...
And I've heard somebody pledge, by the way, that if Republicans take over Congress again, or at least the House, that they're going to get rid of those 87,000 new IRS agents they hired.
They better.
I tell you, if I were president, those guys would be gone. There would be 87,000 new school guards and security guards for children.
Question for both of you guys.
Yeah.
It's pretty certain we will get the House back.
Yeah.
What's the first thing Kevin McCarthy should do once he gains control?
Well, get rid of him, first of all.
Tell Pelosi to sit down.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah, she'll retire. She'll be gone. There's no way she's going to... Pelosi's not going to be a minority member of the Congress. At her age, she's going to blame the attack by Republicans on her husband.
She already did that.
Yeah, I know, but she's going to blame that for her leaving Congress. She's going to retire. It's my guess. She's not going to
unless
stick around.
she's sure they're going to cheat again and win in 2 years.
I don't think she'll last 2. I don't think she can handle being 2 years just being a nobody. But I don't. What do I? I don't know.
By the way, weather report here.
Yes.
Got the hurricane coming. It's going to come right up through here Friday. I think
it's going on the east coast of America up to New York, but it maybe hit Savannah, but it's
going to come up through Atlanta.
The winds will affect Atlanta.
In fact, we have National Weather Service says that it's going to be a wind advisory from 1 a.m. this tonight until 7 p.m. tomorrow night.
So, the whole day tomorrow.
The whole day is
wind
windy.
Advisory.
Yeah, and it says only for Sandy Springs, though. The rest of Georgia's fine.
Everything's fine. Okay, that's good.
So don't worry about it. I have to worry about it, but you don't.
Well, I'm not that worried.
Don't worry for me.
Let's see. It's 10:48, and here's our phone number. Again, it's only me. It's only the Kimmer with Pete Davis, sidekick producer and sports record extraordinaire. When's your next Holy Crap At Sports podcast?
What's today?
Later. Today's Wednesday.
Oh, later today.
Later today. He does his Holy Crap At Sports.
We're back on schedule.
Best podcast there is. We're back on. They both got their candy pieces, and we're actually doing a program. We'll have our podcast will be part of this actual broadcasting extravaganza today, later on. And a couple of historical notes on this day in 1996. Evander Holyfield, the father of Atlanta, upset.
I laugh every time.
I'm sorry. My father upset Mike Tyson for the WBA heavyweight title.
Yeah, it was a big day.
It was a big day, all right.
You know how
Evander Holyfield.
I said that for years, and you said it for years. I first heard that when I lived in San Diego, and they would come on KFMB or something to do the surf report at noon. It was fantastic radio. And they would every time someone mentioned Steve Garvey, they'd all stop and go, the father of Southern California.
Remember, in fact, I saw something on TV the other day. It was the Dodgers versus the
Padres?
No, it was the Dodgers versus the Yankees. It was a Dodgers-Yankees
78, 77.
Yeah, 77, whatever. And they showed a lot of when Steve Garvey was the cover boy, the model. He was a beauty, all-American and everything else. And then they found out he was knocking up women all over
L.A., San Diego.
And they had bumper stickers. If you've had Steve Garvey's baby bonk your horn, I mean, it was hysterical. His other players hated him because he was the golden boy.
He was running for he was going to run for governor, and that kiboshed it.
Yeah, well, he was a hound. I mean, he couldn't help it.
Now who cares?
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah.
Schwarzenegger got elected.
Yeah, Bill Clinton got elected.
Yeah. California.
Rapist got
elected. I worked for it.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, so congratulations, Evander, on this. And one more quick sports thing here. In 2011, legendary football coach Joe Paterno.
Is this what?
What's the matter?
Nothing.
I'm on. I can't hear you all of a sudden. Oh, you're not. Oh, there you go. Pete's mic was off. Anyway, we're working on a button. Say, we're new to this.
This
all right?
is new technology for Kimmer and Pete.
I'm not used to this high-tech crap. We sit around Flounder's place with his cat running around and do a podcast. It's fairly simple. So anyway, legendary football coach Joe Paterno leaves Penn State in disgrace, fired for not stopping a pervert assistant named Jerry Sandusky from molesting boys, even though Paterno was completely aware of it.
What a horrible situation that was.
Hard to believe that he was more concerned with the prestige and stature and reputation of Penn State University's football program than he was with children getting molested. Anyway, what's that? You want me to say this?
Yes.
Oh, all right. I'm going to read. Pete wants me to say that we have a website. Oh, yeah. Go to thekimmershow.net. Yes. If you do that, you can link up to all of our Kimmer Show podcast stuff and the radio station XTRA 106.3.
And we're on Venmo now too, so it's
we have
PayPal,
Venmo. Again, it's our podcast is free. I don't want to use a radio station to talk about podcasts.
No, but we don't mind using the radio show to plug the Kimmer
plug the radio show.
Bit.
So, and again, we do a podcast, and it's free. I made it. Pete's I'm the president, and Pete's the CEO, or whatever. But we made it free because we don't charge money to listen to the podcast.
We don't know what we're doing.
But we do have a Venmo account or PayPal and Patreon.com if you want to try to support us, because otherwise we're going to shut it down. So anyway,
and kindly remember, I am the director of stuff.
Right, the director of all physical
DOS
things.
stuff.
DO, Department of Stuff. Anyway, okay. Elections, where we stand. All right, now let's talk about the. First of all, phone calls. We love your phone calls. Area 404-741-1230. 404-741-1230. And again, if you're on the app, you have to get out of the app, make the call. You'll hear us when you're on hold. Then go back to the app and you'll be fine. We'd love to get your phone calls on your reaction to the election or what's going on here and what do you think?
This segment's poll, most important issue.
All right.
47% of Americans said it's the economy and jobs.
Yeah.
Only 10% said abortion. But a CNN poll had 44% of all Democrats saying abortion was their top issue. Only 15% said inflation.
That's nonsense. Again, see, there you are.
Every woman I heard interviewed yesterday said abortion. Everyone here, Pennsylvania, New York, they all said abortion. They're all middle-class, middle-aged white women.
Yeah. Well, I find it hard. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe that if you ask your basic woman, whether she's in your office or a housewife or at the gym working out or at the store or working in her business or whatever, just any woman, just go up and say, are you really that concerned about your right to have an abortion?
They scared him to that. The Handmaid's Tale.
You still have a right to have an abortion. You can still have an abortion. It's not illegal.
Media scared the hell out of them.
You can have all the abortion. You can have one every week if you want to. Have them all you want. You have 1 million of them.
We're not encouraging.
In fact, let's have a study. How many abortions can you have in 1 year, ladies? I mean, it's not. You can do it. God, I don't know. I'm just, this is stupid. Donald Trump. I heard him on the rally over the weekend, and he said, I'm going to make an announcement on Tuesday or Thursday, November, whatever, 15th, I guess, whatever it is, and you're going to be very, very happy. And they're assuming, obviously, he's going to run for president.
Oh, he's not going to run?
Well, and I think it was clear to me that he was going to run. He was going to
Bad day, bad night for him.
Anyway, and then all of a sudden this morning, Donald Trump set off a scramble in the Republican Party after he threatened to upend the midterm elections by announcing his presidential bid on the eve of the voting. That was the other day. Yeah. He told people the other night he might announce his candidacy, but it led to a chain of phone calls from party leaders who have been trying for months to keep him quiet.
Made it all about him.
At least after the midterms. Yeah. And he did not announce, but he announces. He said there might be something to announce next Tuesday. Now, let's talk about the Donald Trump effect. Again, I think he was one of the greatest presidents we've ever had, but he was such a divisive figure and still is. And what bothers me is that his two main candidates for the important races of the United States Senate, Oz and Herschel Walker, are probably going to lose. Herschel may
I think Herschel's still going to win.
I hope. I'm going to vote for him again. I voted for him yesterday.
I'm going to do it twice.
Yeah. Well, then I'll go 3 times. But again, it's still his effect is still troubling.
He's got below 50% approval. That's even less than he had 2 years ago. Let's face it, if he's on the ballot, I'm voting for him. If he's on the ballot, But I'm telling you right now, it's going to be very hard to pull him over the line again because he seems now so much part of the past. It's a near past, but we all see the future, and it's how close is it? DeSantis,
right?
We see it. Did you hear the people crowd when he gave his speech last night?
Holy cow!
They were yelling 2 more years, which means he'll be governor for 2 years, then president. And Dana Perino, I know you love her.
Well, I don't like her. I think she's getting a little too wokey milquetoast to me, but I love her as a little girl. But I think she's getting a little too lefty woke.
Sometimes she's the blonde in the room, and no offense to the blondes out there. You know what I like. I prefer dark blondes, anyway. But she got on there right after he gave that speech. DeSantis, one of the great acceptance speeches of all time. Ballsy, not putting up with anything. And she goes, "Well, I'm not so sure he's gonna run. He's got his eyes on the White House." It's like, did you not just hear his speech? That is an extremely that's a confidence that we haven't seen since Teddy Roosevelt.
My guess is, I mean, again, let's nail it down. First of all, next Tuesday, do you think that Donald Trump is going to say he's running for president?
I don't know. After last night, man, his ego wants him to run, but reality may say he may split the party. He
will split the party.
I hope if he runs that DeSantis says, "Okay, I'm governor for 4 more years. That's cool. I'll wait because there's a chance Trump loses."
Yeah. Now, what about DeSantis as vice president?
No, do not tie yourself to Trump right now. He's proven He's below 50% approval.
The only bad, if Trump won, then it would be a great move. Then DeSantis is in for the next 8 years. But if Trump loses, it hurts DeSantis too for the future of the party.
I love Trump. I'll vote for him if he's the nominee, but I will not cry if it's DeSantis.
But if he's in the primary runoff, I'll bet you Trump does not get most of the votes in the primaries, if he gets primaried, which is hard to believe. All right, 10:57. I have a hell of a it's not like we'll be back. We'll be back. Oh my God, we'll be back.
Hey, guys.
Hey, hello.
Sorry. The song I had ready for Pete and everything, and you guys are...
It's probably my fault. I'm almost sure of it. Anyway, now is this Pete's song we're playing
This
here?
is Alice Cooper, Elected.
Great song.
There we are.
70s rock.
Weird Al Yankovic could make a nice parody song out of this one.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, the whole thing, it was one of the first videos, by the way. He did a whole video. This is like 1972, 73, around there. And he made a whole video around it. So it's his own parody, frankly.
Oh, be darned. Anyway, welcome aboard, folks. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer with Pete Davis, sidekick producer and the sports raconteur extraordinaire, and the mechanical mangler flounder at the controls at XTRA 106.3 for
and we have Abraham on the line.
Abraham. And again, Glenn Beck's coming. He didn't go anywhere. He's fine. I know people are saying, it's just one day. We're here for one day. This is not a thing. The democracy's not dead. I mean, the election had nothing to do with it. We're just here for a day. Everything's going to be fine.
The ether we used will wear off in a few hours.
You'll get your guy back again tomorrow, and you'll wake up with a slight headache, and then you'll be fine. Anyway, Abraham is on the horn with us. Good morning, Abraham. How you doing? Welcome aboard. Hello, Abraham.
Tanner, what a great night for America. MAGA, Trump totally defeated.
Not totally.
And
well, I wouldn't say totally. Would you say? Why would you say totally?
Because he's
What's that? What about our freedom? Do we have more freedom now? Do we?
Well, if MAGA had won, how many more elections would we have in our country?
A million.
As many as we'd ever had.
I see, people like you are amazing. You are claiming that if Republicans win, it would be the death of democracy because they won by democratic voting. So in other words, the democratic policy of voting for your choice is therefore bad because it leads to people voting for their choice, and therefore you'll never again get to vote for your choice. Okay, how could voting in a democracy therefore prove that it's bad? You will have no more democracy because you voted for it. I mean, that's nonsense. You're not making any sense. It's people like you, Abraham, you freaking idiot. Here's what happened. You use these code phrases. Well, it's the death of democracy. You don't even know what that means, you bonehead. You don't have no idea what that phrase means, death of democracy. For one thing, we don't have a democracy, idiot. We have a constitutional republic. We don't want a democracy. No. The Founding Fathers didn't. There's no word democracy in the Constitution. We didn't want a democracy. There's no death to democracy. It's the proof of democracy. In fact, you should be celebrating the proof of democracy because some of the races you won, and some of the races the Republicans won. I mean, what these idiots saying, it's a death of democracy. You don't know what that means.
It's people like you what cause unrest.
I mean, really, so defund the police. They just came here to argue.
Abraham, I'm telling you.
I mean, come on, the death of democracy.
I know.
Oh my God! And by the way, I don't think this was a great night for Donald Trump in any way at all.
Not at all.
But
he didn't lose everything.
But he did. He didn't go down in defeat. He's still, I mean, and plus places where Republicans never had a chance came within a percentage point of winning. Even New York State, the guy came. Anyway, so I wouldn't say it. I'm disappointed. But again, I'm not disappointed because of Trump. I'm disappointed that he's still involved in this whole schmear. But I'm more disappointed in the fact that people can say, it's a death of democracy, and then somehow vote based on that, which doesn't make any sense and is completely a lie.
You said schmear, and that reminds me, we had a fine breakfast at Goldberg's this morning.
We had a very lovely breakfast
here at the Battery, so we highly recommend it.
And in fact, I'm a little embarrassed. I think he thought we were like married couple
together.
Well, we're sitting there. Okay, I blew it.
I'm glad you said that.
Okay, we're sitting at the table. He's on the other side. Okay, what's it?
That's what I was about to ask.
I mean, if the guy with you sits next to you in the booth, it's a clue. Anyway, so we're sitting in the thing. Okay, and the guy comes over and we looked at the menu We didn't really talk about it. And Pete says, the guy comes over and says, "You ready?" order. And I said, I'm sorry, I need another minute. We were chatting. And Pete said, I know what I want, but we'll wait for a minute. So we come back. Okay, so the guy comes over, and I said to Pete, I said, what are you going to get? And he said, I think I'm going to get that country, what is it?
Omelet.
Country omelet. And I said, oh my God, I'm going to get the same thing, only I'm going to get it without the onions. And he says, I'm going to get it without the onions too.
I know.
All right, so that's bad enough. And then the waiter comes over.
Well, it was bad enough when you said you needed a minute.
No, wait. Well, I needed a minute. Like you're some, hype,
chick.
Yeah, some girl on the side. I want the strawberries on the side.
I'll
whatever.
need a minute.
Anyway, so then the guy comes back, and I, like an idiot, I say, I said, we're both going to have the same thing. I thought,
yeah. Oh, and you know how I knew?
There was so freaking.
Did you notice that when we walked over there, who walked on the outside?
No, well, I always walk on the outside. But again, it's like I'm ordering for my, fiance here. So
It was a bad look.
Well, just trying to have breakfast, for God's sakes.
Opinion of Biden as president. How many Americans?
This is a poll. We're talking about a poll.
Fox News.
Yeah.
How many, your opinion, how many are unfavorable about Joe Biden?
The unfavorable rating of Joe Biden, well, it should be 95%. It's probably unfavorable, probably 54.
56%. 43% favorable. But 2% said, and I quote, I don't know enough to say.
Oh, please. Yeah, I love those. I'm surprised it's not 20%. I don't have any answer.
Did they go into a cave in Utah and find a hermit?
Comas.
Is this newly awakened coma patients?
Yeah.
Like Sheriff Rick in The Walking Dead was in a coma and woke up, and there were zombies everywhere. When he went into the coma, everything was fine.
Yeah, what happened?
He woke up, and there's zombies.
Well,
did they interview coma people?
Yeah, he would have said, well, I'm really not aware of anything. I didn't see anything, Your Honor.
The doctor's trying to eat me.
Oh, God. And again, if I can't. I don't think the country wants to have another presidential contest between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. I mean, obviously, Biden's not going to run again. They're going to throw him down the stairs. He's going to fall in the shower. There's no way that he's going to be on the ticket.
He's going to run.
He thinks he's going to run again. He believes he should run again.
And he's going to keep going leftist. He's not going to go like Clinton did because he doesn't have to.
Yeah. And his wife, the doctor of cuckoldry and community colleges, is going to encourage him to do it, just like always. This enabler, I mean, it's her fault. She should have said, Joe, you're not running for president because you're going to embarrass yourself and your family name for the rest of your life. And she should have thought, by the way, you've gotten away with being the head of the crime family now for 40 years. You're pushing your luck. Allegedly my ass. He's a crime family kingpin like Tony Soprano. And along with his brother Jim and his son Hunter. And we all know it. The evidence is there in black and white. My God. Joe had keys to the office next to the Chinese communist leader in Hunter's company. Not only that, they just had another whistleblower came free from the FBI who said, oh, by the way, we have the information. No. It was a guy who was in the room in the meeting with Hunter Biden and Joe Biden while he was vice president, discussing business plans for a company that Hunter was running, which is illegal for a sitting vice president to be involved in things like that in any way, let alone with his son and foreign operatives for business ventures. And he was in the room, can prove it, showed it. It's all in black. I mean, and the first thing somebody has said, what's the first thing a Republican Congress ought to do? Impeach him. And by the way, I'm not in favor. Just my own opinion. I'm not a role model. Okay, I'm not anything another way. Just me. We do not want to start cooperating with Democrats. My opinion. This business about that's how President hair sniffer, the pervert in charge, got elected by saying, well, I'm just we're just going to bring people together. I want to be the uniform. Remember he said if anybody says anything negative in my administration about somebody else, they're fired on the spot. Remember that? If you say a negative comment about someone else and you're in my administration, no more mean tweets, no more mean speech. If you say something negative about somebody, you're fired immediately. And then he turned out to be the biggest hate screamer, screaming, you MAGA Republicans are a threat to democracy. You need to be stopped. We need to do anything we can to halt what you're doing. Talk about mean speech. And he was in the room discussing things that are a federal law, against federal law.
I know. The investigation should be day one.
I'm telling you, do not cooperate with Democrats. Shut them out. Kick off the powerful Democrats. Don't let them be on committees.
Nope.
They did it to Marjorie Taylor Greene. A little payback, baby. And I'm serious. We need to smother them politically. We need to make sure they can never speak again politically.
Foot on their neck.
We need to hurt them every possible day. Do not cooperate and take control completely and impeach him every chance you get. And he won't be convicted. They'll let him out in the Senate, which but just like they did Trump, but he needs to be impeached and start off with the Afghan withdrawal. And then you go one boom, boom, boom down the line. And you do it he could be impeached for like 9 different things, and we all know it. And he ought to be in prison for being head of the crime family. Allegedly, my butt. Anyway.
That's a key word this morning.
That is it's the number one word here at Dickey Broadcasting. The number one word. You want to do some Pete's tweets here?
That's those Pete's tweets.
And their election
Pete's tweets.
Election Pete's tweets. Nice step.
There you go. Here we go. Hey.
Oh, my God.
He's got it.
Production value.
That's right, baby. We're rock and roll now, baby.
Another 70s group.
Oh, yeah.
Doug.
Davis, yes.
Well, we already did Doug. Okay, here's one for you, Kimmer.
All right, sir.
Just a friendly reminder that if you plan on rioting because of the election, be sure to have it done before November 10th. The entire Marine Corps is about to get white girl wasted and will be looking to fight anything from raccoons to rioters.
White girl wasted. That's big time, Charlie.
I love that. Okay, here's the opinion.
Marine Corps birthday is November 10th. That's the thing.
A few days ago in the Washington Post, the op-ed was, Ron DeSantis' repulsive war on Disney will soon face a reckoning.
Yeah, right.
And yesterday, last month, Geraldo Rivera, your friend, Geraldo, Jerry Rivers, last month tweeted this: Governor DeSantis will soon feel the wrath of Florida's Latino voters outraged by his toying with the lives of those Venezuelan refugees he exploited.
And let's recall again that for the first time in 22 years or 20 years, Miami-Dade County went completely, overwhelmingly for the Republican governor.
The Hispanics seem to be figuring it out. The Asians have already figured it out, except for B. Wynn. But a nice one. She called him, was very nice in her conciliatory speech yesterday about Secretary of State or whatever, Attorney General. But we need African Americans, more and more African Americans, like the first gentleman who called us up today to talk into the community and realize that this endless cycle of poverty and drugs and bad schools and victimhood and just horrible gangs. That's a Democratic plantation cycle that they're on. These are Democrats doing this to you. They've run these inner cities for 50 to 100 years.
Yeah. Well, look what Stakey came out and said that basically that you black guys are too stupid to know how to vote for her because you've been brainwashed by the far-right media people. As though the far-right media has any power over anybody with anything. All of a sudden now we're right-wing media is powerful. You've never said that before. But she said basically black men are too stupid to be able to figure out that you should vote for her because you've been brainwashed by the media. I mean, my God. And so, I guess we, did anybody really believe this?
Stakey, Guy Milner has the Learjet all warmed up and ready for you at Peachtree and Cab.
It's unbelievable.
Charlie Crist, remember him?
Former governor.
Here's what he said last month and tweeted this. In case you haven't heard, Ron DeSantis is a spineless wannabe dictator who is going to lose in 16 days.
And he got creamed.
By 19 points.
He got swarmed.
That doesn't happen nowadays.
No, it doesn't.
Let's see. We already mentioned him. Guam, our good friends in Guam.
Yes.
Big listening ship over there with us.
Hank Johnson.
I'm going to get to Hank.
Well, we'll get to Hank here in a second. Your former representative, yes.
Yeah, the former. Yeah. Guam flipped Republican as its delegate to the U.S. for the first time in 30 years is going to be a Republican.
Wow, I had no idea.
But Representative Hank Johnson responded, Guam is still afloat?
Remember, that guy Pete used to be in his district as congressman. Hank Johnson, at the time,
Which I voted for to get rid of Cynthia McKinney.
To get rid of Cynthia McKinney, who's had her name on a highway, for God's sakes.
Over by the jail, by the way.
Oh, jeez.
It leads to the jail.
And Hank Johnson did actually say and believe two things. One, that Guam, if you put more American troops there practicing on Guam, you're going to tip it over.
Yeah.
It's going to just bobble up in the ocean. And secondly, that he thought there's such a crisis of the lack of helium for clown balloons that there's not going to be another happy birthday party unless we do something to make the supply of helium bigger for clowns to make their balloons at birthday parties.
I'm glad you and Flounder. I'm glad you and Flounder were here today to be Mr. Helpers. Because Hank Johnson has responded to this news from Guam.
Oh, he has?
Yes. Said, must have been all that clown helium I sent them.
Thank you, Mr. Helper.
I broke it a little too early, didn't I?
Okay. Someone wrote this on Facebook, and someone else did it too. This is perfect. This election feels like we're all in divorce court waiting to see who gets custody of us.
Well, yeah.
We're screwed no matter what. Mom or dad.
Yeah, we have to run away from home.
Yeah. Cal Kashov tweeted, it turns out inflation, a tanked economy, and teaching school children their oppressors is not a winning message. Just didn't win as much as it should have.
Yeah.
And Teddy Roosevelt, to close out Pete's tweets.
Yes.
Teddy Roosevelt, get the production value ready.
Yes.
Teddy Roosevelt, quote, a vote is like a rifle. Its usefulness depends upon the character of the user.
Well, okay. Although,
are you going to argue with Teddy Roosevelt?
Well, no, I could,
because I'm just going to get up and walk out.
No, I could, but I'll pass. But if you think about it,
say it.
Well, no, the word. Say the words. The actual word he said. The value. He's talked about the value. Yes, well, the problem is you can be a complete dirtbag and vote for a Democrat, and the value to that Democrat is astounding. And that's how they get power is stupid slimebag people who hate America vote Democrat and they win. So the value, you don't have to have any character at all to be valued to a Democrat by voting for the Democrat. You don't have to have any character or value. So I take issue with that.
You just took a quote from one of the greatest Americans who ever lived.
Well, that is something up with which
took a bullet for you.
Up with which I shall not put.
That's with Churchill.
I know, Mr. Churchill. If I were your wife, I would feed you poison, madam. If I were your husband, I'd drink it.
Lady Astor.
Lady Astor.
All right, we're getting off the election.
Are we done already? Good night, everybody.
No, we got more election talk.
We got more. Oh God, really?
Coming up.
They can't do this. Lou Ferrigno, happy birthday. He's either 71 or 72. It could go either way.
Some of you will get this. Here's my Stanford Steve impression. Coming up.
Let's go to the videotape. 11:20 on the thing with our thing here on 106.3 or no, the whole thing there. Look out. Here we go. Stand by. Look out. Herp. Little music maestro as we're back on the radio. How's it going? Herp and a herp?
Same old song and dance.
Same old song and dance, baby.
Yeah.
Look out. How you doing? It's only me. It's only the Kimmer on XTRA 106.3 with Pete Davis, sidekick producer extraordinaire.
What decade would you say this song is from?
Well, you know, we got a request from one of our listeners. Again, we have the Kimmer Show podcast. We do anything, but this being back on the radio has been a long time. And so Copper Kettle wrote us in and said he's so thrilled to have us back on the air, and he wants to hear a lot more 70s rockers music, just because it reminds him of a great time back in the because he apparently back in the 70s was something of some note, which is good. A couple of quick historical notes. We're talking election and other things as well here. And let me give you the phone number. We love your phone calls. And again, if you're listening on the app on your phone, you'll have to obviously get off the app, make the call. But when you call and we put you on hold, you'll be able to hear the show. And then we'll talk to you and then go back to the app. And here's the number, 404-741-1230. 404-741-1230. 1230, and we want to talk to you. And we're off at noon, so you got 35 minutes. A couple of quick things in history. In 1938, night of the broken glass. I know you're going to kill you. Pete told. Okay. Let's just say it out loud. The other day we're doing a podcast, and Flounder says they want you to go on the radio on Wednesday morning and talk stuff and election stuff. And Pete says, "Well, you can't be doing your birthdays and history stuff like you do on the podcast, you know."
I didn't say it like
now,
that.
Wait a minute. I just that's what I do.
I said, please.
Yeah, my ass, you said please.
Please. I'm begging.
You said a lot of things, and now one among them was not the word please. Anyway,
now listen.
So I'm doing it anyway. It's going to take like 40 seconds, and then it'll be over.
Good Lord.
1938, the night of the broken glass, Kristallnacht.
Yeah.
As Nazi troops and sympathizers destroyed 8,000 businesses, burned 267 synagogues, murdered dozens of Jews, and rounded up 25,000 Jewish men.
Those are real Nazis.
That's Nazis.
Yeah, that's Nazis. Not the silly guy down the street
Democrats
that says something you don't like.
Right, yeah. 1938, rounded up, and the night of the they were breaking all the windows and all the shops got broken glass, and they called it Kristallnacht. 1961, the Professional Golfers Association, the PGA, finally eliminated the clause that said only white guys can play on the tour. And today, thanks to Tiger Woods, almost all PGA Tour golfers now are all black, and they wear khaki slacks and Baswegians, which I didn't know. 1989 certainly made a big, tremendous impact on the Caucasian clause. 1989, East Germany opened its borders and allowed its citizens to freely cross into the West for the first time in 1989, the first time since the Berlin Wall was built in 1961. Pete Davis and I pretended for years that we actually have chips from the old wall as keepsakes, along with autographed baseballs from Tom Glavine. Those are many of the things that we think we have.
that was the late Jack Kennedy, who had Tom Glavine's signature down to a T.
We guarantee you.
And we used to hand them out. Look, you want a Tom Glavine signed ball?
I got one right here.
We used to sit in the booth at Manual's, and he would have a box of balls, and he'd just sit there and sign them. And we'd just give them to people. And they would watch him sign it, and they'd still take it.
I've got one.
I gave it to you, probably.
Gave it to me. It was from
probably Jack.
From Jack Kennedy.
There's something. When I worked at Album 88, I was the news director at Album 88, Georgia State's late, great radio station before
they took it over
GPP
by the leftists.
Stole it.
Yeah, please.
So, because we need more Garrison Keillor.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And I had a German girl who was one of my news people. Mm-hmm. And she says, I'm going back home for the holidays. And I said, that was during this whole thing, the wall. And I 89. Said, gosh, can you bring me back a piece of the wall? And then I forgot about it. She came back. She brought me a hunk with graffiti on it.
Wow.
And she was trustworthy. The Germans, they're not much on... no,
they would never do anything.
Around.
No, they're pretty straightforward.
If they say they're gonna say they're gonna do something,
they're probably gonna do it.
You should listen to them.
You might want to take them at their word on this one.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, that whole solution business. I don't know.
No one lived. That's the problem. Nobody believed his book. He wrote that book 10 years before, exactly what he was going to do, and nobody believed it. Believe me, nowadays, when a politician tells you something, believe them. Obama said he would fundamentally change America. Look what happened.
President Showers with daughter just said no more drilling. It's over.
There's no more drilling.
Joe Manchin's got to be going nuts. He got stabbed in the back.
Him. He knows. He knew at the
needs
time.
to be a Republican. He needs to say, okay, that's it. It's over. You've left me. Republican. Yeah. Well,
he knew they were going to stab him in the back, and they stabbed him in the back anyway.
But they did, yeah.
By the way, if you're a woman in Ackworth, who couldn't find any makeup yesterday, it's because the Fox News reporter lady had put it all on her face.
God, have you seen?
She was beautiful too, but there was no need for it.
Well, and in fact, they're all getting worse. I mentioned Katie Pavlich, who's one of the hottest women I know. I saw her this morning.
Pancake.
And oh my God! And they have those like spider eye. What do they call them? Eyelash. They would look like a freaking spider hanging out of her. Oh God! I mean, you try to put anyway, and I mean, it looked like they were 9 inches long. And why are they doing this to the ground? It's the makeup people doing it.
And by the way, she must have cleaned out every CVS in Cobb County. I haven't seen a painted lady like that since the geisha house in Tokyo. She doesn't need it either. She's beautiful.
What's her name?
Her name's Aisha something.
Oh yeah, Hajni. Aisha Hajni. I think it is.
Just gorgeous.
She's a beautiful woman. Yeah.
Dark hair, dark eyes.
Well, she's dark. She's got the dark thing going. Well, once she,
we already did that.
No, that's right.
Keep moving.
No, keep moving.
Any phone calls?
Well, here's the number again.
Oh, we got a phone call.
404-741-1230. And again, we're off in half an hour, 28 minutes or something.
This is Bob from Marietta.
And I'm sorry, I act like we don't. We've been having phone calls the entire time.
Yeah, Bob, we're doing it. Hey, Bob, Marietta, how's it going, Bob? Hi, Bob.
Going good. Good to speak with you guys. I just wanted to call and comment on another blatant example of media bias towards the Democrats. Last night here in our local market, the governor, our elected governor who just won re-election, was given his speech about his vision for the future, and all three affiliate stations, ABC, NBC, CBS, cut it off to switch over to Warnock, saying, well, we're still trying. I mean, how blatantly obvious can you be that you cut off the guy who just won, the Republican, to go to a candidate?
Yeah, especially since it's not over, and the Republican was telling about, that he won, and here's what he's going to do, and there was no decision yet, so it's not news yet. If there's no decision, it hasn't happened, so why would they, obviously you want to check in with a candidate, what he's thinking, but you don't go away from the governor when he's speaking in order, I don't know. Well, you're right, Bob, here we go, Bob. I mean, this is what it is. We have to live with it.
Not just one of them, all three of them.
I believe
I couldn't see the end of our governor's speech.
Yeah. I don't know whether you heard us earlier, but again, down in Florida, every single newspaper endorsed Charlie Crist against DeSantis by every single one, and he got creamed. So again, the media is going to do anything they can for the leftists. And another great example. Bob, thank you so much, friends in Marietta.
Tucker Carlson had a great line last night when they thought there was going to be this red wave.
Yeah.
He said that Democrats may be down to just NPR listeners. Only people with Pledge Drive tote bags will be left.
I heard Dana Perino was hysterical, or one of them couldn't stop laughing. Yeah, he's a funny guy. He is.
What happened to him? Because he used to suck when he was on MSNBC and CNN.
When he wore his little bow tie and
stuff. He was such a little nerd.
Well, he was kind of a nerdy, wonky,
middle of the road,
sort of a highbrow, literate, sort of one of the
unfunny PJ O'Rourke.
Well, and kind of an elitist, and I think that's. And all of a sudden,
he's
a lot of things
funny
changed.
As hell.
Yeah, he is funny. He's very clear, and he doesn't hold back much. I mean, I'm impressed with him. I think he talks too fast. I should speak, but no, I'm sorry.
Someone said you're like a chicken with your head cut off running around the studio here.
Well, what's like no one's ever said that before, Anyway, I don't know.
Hey, do we have that Flounders on the phone there? Do we have that special Stacey Abrams song from the late great dandy Don Meredith? That we had ready.
No, I don't know about this. You were surprised in the camera?
It's a Stacey Abrams tribute song.
I didn't know as shaky as.
Party's over.
There you go. Back to the Howard Cosell days, I guess.
You used to stay up late just to watch that. I used to hide so I could watch the halftime highlights in the hallway so my dad wouldn't see me.
See us staying up too late.
Yeah. We got Mickey on the line. He wants to chime in on some of the politics you guys are discussing.
M-I-C-K-E-A-Y.
Mickey, like Mickey Mantle.
Mickey. How you doing? Welcome aboard. Nice to have you with us. What's up?
Hey, Kimmer, I'm the father of the daughter that you put a tattoo on her back live on the radio.
Hey, I wasn't even there that weekend.
My daughter's claim to fame is getting a tattoo on your stick.
Yeah, it was Tattoosday, we called it. Tattoosday.
Yep,
and we had a girl, and we had another lady do it on her pretty little ankle, too. It was kind of weird. Anyway, well, I hope that was okay with you.
Well,
not really, no. I'm sorry, man.
That's okay. But anyway, I just want to thank all you dumb-ass, uninformed idiot Democrats. Thank you so much for all the crap this country's going through. I really appreciate it.
You know, I honestly, I just can't believe it. If we just use common sense, just silly things, the way we teach our kids in school, the way we try to raise our children. I mean, it's just easy, simple, daily life and work stuff. And we're so far off what America has always been. I can't believe that people don't see we're driving off the road. I don't know.
I mean, what I was listening to, it was on Fox, and I can't remember the guy that, I think Ryan was running against Vance, I guess it was, and they were in there.
Ohio? Yeah,
Tim
and
he said, they were talking about he's pro-life, and he goes, good Lord, this is America. We should be pro-life. I'm like, yeah, America's for killing babies? Really?
Well, hell, Reverend Wife Knocker believes in abortion. Man's a minister. A baby's born, you don't really want it. Yeah, we'll make it comfortable until we decide to take its life. That post-birth abortion. I mean, astounding. I don't know. I guess maybe I'm out of it. I'm not even any demographic category anymore, I guess.
All right, now we got Moose on the phone.
Moose. We got, hey, Moose.
I asked him about Rocco.
Hey, help the judge find his wallet. Hey, Moose.
Kimmer, it is so awesome to hear your voice back on the air. Finally, they've been listening to your call every morning and tell them, put you guys back on the show and get rid of Guy Benson.
Well, don't get excited because it ain't going to happen. But thank you. You're very
kind. I don't want to get rid of you.
If you would have just ran when we asked you to 4 years ago,
I should have. You know what? Honest to God, I never would have done anything, but I think it would have been a really interesting experience if I had actually run for Congress from the 6th District.
I wish you would have done it. You would have been an island of reality in a sea of diarrhea.
And he had nothing else to do.
It would have been, it wasn't working. I would have been, I mean, and I actually thought about it, and I couldn't wait for my first news conference to turn on the media. You know, I love the way that Kerry Lake in Arizona turned on the press when they kept trying to, say things that clearly weren't true. And she said, oh, no, you don't. And that's what it takes. But again, she may not even be able to pull that off. And I can't believe. Did you ever hear her opponent talk? She wouldn't debate the woman. She's the worst candidate I've ever heard, especially as a female. Women have to be smarter, tougher, brighter. And this woman is like a dish rag. And she's probably going to win the Arizona governorship. And Kerry Lake deserves it.
Hid the whole time.
Unbelievable.
Hid the whole time. By the way, here's the cover of the New York Post this morning.
Yeah.
The future. And there's DeSantis.
Yeah, D and small e, D as in Santis.
The future. The Post has
it.
left Trump.
I'm telling you, the issue, this Donald Trump, I can't wait for Tuesday because Trump's going to say something Tuesday. And so here we go. Did you hear
what he actually said? Here's a quote from, I'm paraphrasing, but the quote was, if we win, I should get all the credit. And if we lose, I should get none of the blame.
Right. Well, that's the best way to do it. That was one of his books, wasn't it?
Do you realize how you screwed up? You should have ran for Congress. You'd had a government check in your hand every month for the rest of your life.
I know.
The government check.
I should have done it. How funny would that have been?
That would have been funny. Especially funny since we all got fired right after that.
Exactly. Oh, Lordy. Yeah, that's all right. Anyway,
it's our opinion.
We're almost out of time. 404-741-1230. 404-741-1230. Some states decided on legalizing marijuana. Let's see, 5 states that would shift marijuana legalization: Arkansas, Maryland, Missouri, North Dakota, and South Dakota. President pervert crime family is decriminalizing marijuana or is moving toward it. He announced he was pardoning thousands of people convicted of possession of marijuana under federal law. Recreational marijuana is legal now in 19 states.
I saw a report a couple days ago that said it's been 10 years in some states, basically, and they have not seen the great windfall profits that they thought they'd be getting, either the state and taxes or the actual companies. They weren't. It's not.
Really?
Some people have, but it hasn't been as big as they thought it would be.
I'm surprised at that. I'm not surprised that the states, it tends to be states that legalize marijuana, all of a sudden everything changes, including prices, rents, housing prices. I mean, boom. In fact, I live my kids live in Colorado, and I know from my daughters that buying a house now or even renting a place in Denver, and then are you kidding?
My brother bought a condo in the Rockies about 10 years ago, and he says now I wish I'd bought two.
Yeah, because he'll make $1 million when he sells one of them. 11:40 on XTRA 106.3. We're almost out of time. I can't believe it. We'll be back. We'll be back. Oh, sorry. No, we're good. We're here. Everything
back when we wanted.
Everything's fine. No, fine and dandy. I swear to God. How you doing? Look out! It's only me. It's only the Kimmer and the. I was going to say the Kimmer Show, but it's more of our podcast live here on the radio at XTRA 106.3. Pete Davis, sidekick, producer, sports raconteur extraordinaire, and don't forget if you go to the website thekimmershow.net. it'll link you up to not only this radio station, 106.3, but also our podcast. Our sponsors, if you want, people are donating to keep our podcast on the air, and there's links to that and so
Please
forth.
support them.
Yeah, if you do, that we're trying to keep this thing going. And again, since radio has changed and we're no longer on the radio, we're doing the podcast thing, and it's not like being here. This is really fun.
There's stuff here.
They have, like microphones,
food,
and computers, and TV screen. I mean, it's great. Electronic stuff.
You can also get a podcast on the Podcast Park, which is
Podcast Park.
Dickey Broadcasting family of people, which we're proud to be part of.
Has all their podcasts, too. So go to the Podcast Park and you'll be fine, too. And again, the number 404-741-1230. Do we have Rocco? Rocco's on the line. Hey, Rocco, how's it going, man? Welcome aboard.
What's going on? I heard my name. I thought you were calling roll.
Yeah, Moose was on earlier.
Moose is on now. You got me. Hey, listen, I tell you, like when you lose a ball game, it's not one play that does it.
Yeah.
It's usually something earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I tell you who really is at fault here is Mitch McConnell, because Mitch McConnell poured $350 million into the state of Ohio to save one seat. Yeah. And he refused to give any other money to these Trump-backed candidates. Yeah. It wouldn't even come down to Georgia if he had gave money to the guy in New Hampshire and other candidaents.
He did. He pulled money from some of the races that needed it.
Yeah.
And again,
spite.
I just don't like the man. I don't.
No.
I don't trust him. I think he's been there too long. I don't think he's the. And again, I may be way out of line on this, and don't hold me as a role model. But honestly, if I were in charge of Republicans going back to Congress after this election, and depending on what happens in the Senate, either I would not be saying, okay, let's put all our bygones be bygones and let's all work together and be smooth to do things to make the baloney. We need to smother them.
I think he's afraid to be the leader again.
He is.
And so he sabotages himself by doing stuff like this and says, oh, well, we need a better candidates then. We had great candidates. That Don Bullock, he's great up in New Hampshire. Yeah. He was great. He would be great, but no, he didn't support him.
Yeah. I don't think it's fear. I think it was spite. He hates Trump.
Well, I think that's probably true. And Trump made fun of his wife, and that's not going to make him any happier either. So, I mean, and look at Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham, during the Supreme Court hearing for Kavanaugh, when Dianne Finkelstein had that phony letter business out of the blue for a Maisie Lazy Ford Humple Pumper, and said, I was molested when I was 14. I don't remember where or when, but I know it happened with a Republican. And Lindsey Graham exploded against Finkelstein for pulling this stunt with a letter that came out of nowhere all of a sudden. And I've never seen Lindsey Graham so fired up and angry and said, you people did this on purpose, and I know you did because I was in the room when you planned. I mean, he was beautiful. Well, where did that go? I mean, we need leaders who keep doing it. We can't back down. We need to make sure these liberals never get back in power. Our country's at stake.
You know who else needs to go?
Yeah.
Trey Gowdy. He needs to find another. He needs to find a NASCAR pit crew and get in there and shut the blank up. Well, they said two stupid things last night. One of them was Warnock was running against Stacey.
Trey Gowdy said that?
And they all kind of looked at him, and nobody said anything.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah,
well, at least he's a Republican. I mean, at least he's not going to be a milquetoast like Mitt Romney or somebody. So, I mean, I'd hate to get rid of him. But again, they need to
he's not in power
up.
Anymore. He's not in power anymore. He quit.
No, he's a commentator. I know, but still, I don't know. At least he's going to. I don't know. My head. I don't know.
You know.
I mean, really,
we need Stephen A. Smith to run. That's what we need.
I can't explain what happened. I can't explain that. You look at the polls, and everybody says it's the economy, stupid, and the gas prices, and the open borders, and the crime. All the things. 90% of the public says the only way to handle those things is to vote Republican, and they don't vote Republican. So if you believe the issues are Republican issues, then why don't you vote for the people who will help you get those issues passed?
I've told you, and Bortz agrees with me. No, yes, I agree with him. He's older. That it's education. Yeah. It's the last 40, 50 years of bad government indoctrination is what's helped do this.
Yeah. And no Pledge of Allegiance and no prayers, and the teachers will, tell. And again, remember, parents only found out fairly recently because of Zoom and the China kill virus what was going on in the classrooms.
Yeah. They were grooming them to change their sex.
And again, I'm remembering back. You mentioned 50 years ago when I was a kid. We went when we had a PTA meeting or a parent counselor meeting. We went.
My mom was there.
My parents went, and I was standing outside the room. Or they came back to tell. I mean, they were very active. If you had a chance to talk to your teacher, and you were on notice.
Who would have thought that 50 years of teaching your kids to hate themselves, to hate their skin color, to hate their history, to hate their traditions, hate their culture, hate their language, hate their people sitting next to them, hate their country, hate their flag, hate their anthem, hate God, and hate their family.
And feel guilty about it.
Yeah. Who would have thought that would come back to bite us in the ass?
Yeah. 50 years. Well, it's been since about 1970.
And
about
you got to
late
hand it to them.
60s.
The counterculture hippies that said, you know what, the best way to do it is we'll have to infiltrate and take it over from inside, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
They control everything now. The media, the education, the government, the military. They've got everything now.
Yeah. Again, all you Glenn Beck fans, he's coming back. I know.
Have to talk tomorrow.
I know somebody who just got in his car and where's Glenn Beck? What the hell? And then, no, everything's fine. It's all we're here for one day. Okay, everything. It's not the death of democracy or the radio. Glenn Beck will be back on the morrow.
A wave of migrants has overwhelmed his compound in Texas, but they're fighting them back. They got the Gatling gun out, and everything will be fine.
And again, I honestly, I think you should say, I guarantee you that there are times when Glenn Beck and his producer are talking together and you can't tell which one is which. Sorry, just listen. Next time you listen, just think about it. Honestly, I'll bet I'm not the only one who thinks that. I think Flounder has recognized that as well.
Don't drag him in.
Haven't you noticed that? Sure.
Whatever you say, boss.
All right, hold on. 2 quick birthdays. Nick Lachey used to be married to Jessica Simpson.
Who?
Nick Lachey is either 42, 49, or 50. I think he's 49. I got 3 different sources.
I'd say 42.
I got 3 different sources: 42, 49, or 50. And by the way, he's married to another singer, and it's her birthday too.
Good for her.
I think. Whitey Herzog.
Still alive?
92. Can you believe it?
Wow. Yeah, thanks, Whitey, for blowing Bruce Suter's arm out before he came to the Braves.
I never liked Whitey.
Great manager.
I respected him as a baseball manager guy, but I thought I just never liked him. I guess he was just more of an
His
old-fashioned
teams
hard
bugged
ass.
me because they played on that 120-degree AstroTurf in St. Louis in that horrible stadium.
You'd see a pop fly would drop and would bounce 40 feet over the outfielder, go to the wall for a triple, and it was a pop fly. Boing.
And we have too many homers now. They usually had one guy. Either they had George Hendricks.
Yeah.
I love the way he batted.
Yeah.
Or Jack Clark.
Remember the black bat with a black bat. Didn't he have a black bat?
Closed stance.
Yeah.
His back
was it
is
the
facing.
Giants? Where did he play for?
Oh, you're talking about Jack Clark. Also, was there one guy who could hit? He was a giant.
Yeah.
Hendricks was somebody else, and then he came to the Cardinals, I think.
Yeah, I remember his stance where
Copper Kettle's going to be in seventh heaven. Not only are we talking 70s rock bands, we're talking 70s and 80s baseball clubs.
A little nostalgia for Copper Kettle. I mean, it's the least we can do.
Well, we got Suter. Kim Obergville came over to the Braves for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Played third base. Could not hit outside of the infield. Good, nice guy.
Well, anyway, and just as a promo for Holy Crap at Sports,
later on today,
any top issues or things you're thinking
the college
about?
Football playoff rankings, which they got absolutely right. The top 4, it was the exact same as that. TCU
Georgia
should be 4. Georgia, they have Ohio State. I got Michigan too, and then that'll change when Ohio State beats them.
Yeah.
And then they got Michigan, they got TCU, and I have the same 4.
You have TCU in the top 4?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah. At least right now, but they won't be there at the end. They're not going to run out.
Yeah. But it's amazing a school like TCU, and every once in a while you get a South Florida or a TCU or someplace like that.
Because when we were young, TCU and Baylor and all those teams down there in the SWAC, I love the old Southwest Conference, but it was Texas and Arkansas every year. That was it.
Yeah.
Just like the Big Ten, it's either Michigan or Ohio State. And all those the Rice. All those teams just sucked every year.
Yeah, well, we weren't football powerhouses.
SMU, all of them.
That's all right. All right, it's 11:53. We got a few minutes left in the show. If you want to get one last quick phone call in, we'd love to hear from you. 404-741-1230. Do we have any other update on races being settled? I guess not really.
They're saying it's going to be a runoff between Warnock and Walker. That's pretty official now.
But the thing is there's still votes out there that have not been counted.
Like 1% now. We're down to 1% to 2%. I saw where Herschel gained 2,000 the last time I looked.
But it's still not close.
It's not going to make it.
And I'm telling you, libertarians, if you don't get out and Republicans get out and vote in this one, we are totally screwed.
Yeah.
Not just this state, but the country. We got to learn our lesson from last time. You got to get out and vote.
Yeah. Vote Republican. I mean, really, and the libertarians, stop your ego trip and do the right thing for your country and your state. And we support what you believe, and we welcome you to the debate. I mean, everybody who wants to be in politics should get involved in politics. God bless you for doing it. We appreciate your stand, but not when you're going to hurt the country because of it.
Wasn't the guy with Stacey and Kemp bowed out a few weeks ago and threw it behind Kemp? Was that the thing that one of them dropped out because he did the right thing?
I don't remember.
But this guy, Chase Oliver. Yeah. I don't know what he's thinking.
Well, we can only imagine what he's thinking, but he's not thinking the right thing for Georgia or America.
If he doesn't come out and support Kemp, remember his name.
Yeah, that's right. Now remember, Libertarian
just don't
Party.
ever vote for him
If you
again.
Libertarians can't come out, why should that be just him? Just all the Libertarians should have news conferences.
Some of them dropped out.
Yeah, well, I mean, but people who believe in the Libertarian Valley should be saying, "Wait a minute, I'm a Libertarian. Vote for Herschel. I'm a Libertarian. Vote for Herschel." I mean, you don't have to have a spokesman. Just people need to start saying it and thinking it and doing it.
Then vote against him in the next runoff or whatever.
Right. Anyway, I don't know.
Your prediction: is Biden going to run again?
No. I promise you they're going to throw him down the stairs. He'll fall in the shower. Nobody except Joe Biden wants him to run again. And except maybe his cuckolding wife for the power-hungry trip that she's on. I wonder whether she's the one who arranged all the secret rendezvous when she was cheating on her husband with him. Whether she probably one who set it up behind the scenes. She's very conniving, scheming little witch.
I have to tell you, if she wins again 4 more years, they're going to, at Haverty's and all these other sofa cloth makers are going to have to come up with a whole new load of designs, because that's all she wears is what you find on your mama's sofa.
I got that out of a Winnebago or something. Curtains from
it just came in that old Slim Pickens line from Blazing Saddles. Somebody's got to go back in town and get a whole of dimes.
I'd say you boys have had enough beans.
Hey, more beans, Mr. Taggart?
No, I'd say you boys.
It's degraded to this, hasn't it?
Don't shoot him. You just make him mad.
All right. Okay, another prediction.
Yeah.
Is Trump, probably in the next week or so, going to announce he's running or not?
I think he's going to announce he's going to run. I think he's going to run, and I think it's going to be an upheaval that we've never seen, the likes of which we have never seen. I remember when John Anderson ran as an independent, and he had an impact.
I voted for him.
And he had a serious impact, and not only on legitimate political changes and stuff, but he had a serious impact. Donald Trump, I think he's going to run, but his impact is going to be that the Republican Party is going to turn on him, and they're going to vote. They're going to want Ron DeSantis, and there's going to be a huge split in people on whether DeSantis should wait to be running for president.
I think he should wait.
Have a primary fight with Trump. If Trump runs, should everybody else leave him alone?
But here's the problem. What if things go bad in the next 4 years in Florida by some, just weird things happen and go against him? Because he's had a run of 4 years now, especially the COVID stuff, that has been almost perfect. It can't stay that way, right?
Well, I think Trump is going to announce he's going to run, and when he does, I think there's going to be hell to pay, and unless they all say, and also then depends who the Democrats are going to run. I think Trump could beat Buttigieg, fudgy fudge boy, but I don't know about a strong candidate. If it's Newsom, I think we're going to, and he's the worst state governor in the place. All right, God bless America. Thank you all, Pete, God, Flounder, all our friends here at 106.3 and the Dickey Broadcasting. Again, Glenn Beck returns. Everything's going to be fine. It's going to be okay.
Have you heard something?
No. Anyway, with the Kimber and Pete and Flounder, thank you. God bless America. Have a happy, happy day. I'm going to go to the stable and take some horse videos.
Want a hit?
I'll take a little something. Yeah. Pack me a bowl, Flounder. I'm going home. Look out.
Allegedly.
Look out.